I'm streaming. I think I'm streaming. I hope I'm streaming. I hope that I'm streaming right now. I hope that I'm a sweet streaming boy. I think I'm streaming right now. Waiting. Nope, we're streaming, thankfully. I just updated my OBS and it just dawned on me that hey, maybe it reset all my settings and everything because I just updated it. And thank God it didn't. Thank God all my settings stayed exactly the same. You guys can see in my mirrored sunglasses that I'm also doing this live stream. I'm looking at a hefty amount of pornography while I'm doing it. That's what we call multitasking. If you look close enough, you'll be able to see all the porn I'm watching. It's so hot. Oh my God. Hope everybody's doing well. This is our every other week Thursday Q&A Super Chat live stream where I take your questions, your comments, your statements, your hot takes, and I just kind of respond to them, your suggestions as well, and just kind of shoot the shit with you guys for a little bit. I missed all of you over the past few weeks. I have a few picks from some of the suggestions that were made during the last installment, the last episode of the live stream, so we will go over those before I end up leaving the live stream. And outside of that, I'm not really sure what else to say. All right, I think we're just going to get straight into it, start getting into the super chats and the things people are saying and doing. Marlon! And tomorrow we should have a new Let's Argue on the Fantano channel. Tonight, after the live stream here, I'm most likely going to have a Tiny Moving Parts review come out. And tomorrow on the main channel, I'm hoping to get a Tribulation review out. So we do have some more reviews and content coming down the pipe, as usual. Oh no, I'm scrolling up and I don't mean to scroll up. All right, let's get into it. I want to miss this. I don't want to miss this $2 super chat that somebody said. And Cooper Ferris says, "Hey Melon, what are your thoughts on Pine Grove? Personally, I've always found Pine Grove's music to be painfully boring. Never had any interest in Pine Grove, and that's just kind of where I'm at with Pine Grove. They just don't really make indie rock that I'm all that interested in." Captain Falcon, hey man, thanks for coming by every week and asking questions. What do I think of Billie Eilish's debut EP? Also, where's that Tribulation review? It's going to be coming out tomorrow. And the Billie Eilish EP I thought was okay. You know, the production was kind of progressive. I could see why somebody like Charlie XCX is going to kind of jump on her and support her. She's also got a very progressive sense of style, it seems. But I find her vocals to be kind of run-of-the-mill, so I found it kind of difficult committing a lot of the EP and her performances to memory because it just felt, very average. Hey, MGMT Tano. Oh, I'm so excited for that MGMT album. So excited for it. I want it. What are your thoughts on pre-music for the Masses Depeche Mode? Be sure to look at super chats you may have missed. I will. And I will be trying to do my best to look at super chats that I may have missed. I'm sorry the super chats are only up for a very limited amount of time. I'm going to be trying to get to as many super chats as possible, and if I do miss a bunch, I'm going to go down into the super chat section and pick up the ones that I missed before the show ends. I like the darker Depeche Mode, so the later Depeche Mode is really kind of more my vibe. I know they're not technically a goth band, but I do kind of like the moodier stuff. Where the hell is the Bjork worst to best? I am working on it. I just actually kind of oriented my list, and I'm going to be trying to write it for the bulk of next week, considering that there aren't a whole lot of major reviews that I want to get out next week, so I'm going to have time to do the Bjork. And I'm hoping to have it out by that week or by the weekend. So that's kind of my goal right now. That's what I would like to happen in a perfect world, assuming that nothing interrupts me or gets in my way. Any chance of a collab with Oliver from Deep Cuts? I do like Oliver from Deep Cuts. I could see my way to... definitely next time I'm sort of out and I need kind of like some content and stuff. And, I'm going to have other YouTubers kind of taking my place and sort of fill in my spot. I could definitely see me, commissioning or asking for him to do a video for, at some point that week to sort of bring some traffic to his channel and everything. Because Oliver at Deep Cuts, he does some really good stuff. If you don't know Deep Cuts on YouTube, if you don't know who Oliver is, look up Deep Cuts. And he has a really good channel, really informative videos, and a really passionate guy. Favorite Shoo Shoo album? My personal favorite is Air Force. I do like Fab Muscles myself. Are those your clout goggles, mate? No, these are not clout goggles. They're very much not goggles. They're glasses, and they're just very round sunglasses. I wouldn't be caught dead wearing no clout goggles. Never. And I just hate the way the computer makes my eyes feel in the dark, so I kind of like wearing them. Arthur Russell's pretty good. I do like his approach to groove, and I like the way that he kind of combined sort of classical instrumentation with that vibe, or I guess sort of that percussion style. Hugely influential to who do I want to say? Caribou, obviously. And I just really enjoy not too much of his discography. I'm really more of a casual listener of his. I kind of know the hits and the more major releases, but that's pretty much it. Hey man, you should check out We Come From Mars on Bandcamp. They're synth folk and from a town near mine. They are super unique, and I would love to hear your thoughts on their stuff. P.S. Nine Inch Nails worst to best. That would kind of be a good idea, I think. But I'm going to stash that recommendation. Put that in my pocket. Thank you very much for the super chat, the support, and the suggestion. I hate that the super chats do that they like disappear. Do you like Power Violence? And if so, do you like Spaz? Is that a band within the genre, or is that something sort of like an offshoot? I mean, I like Nails. I like Man is the Bastard. I like some of the Power Violence stuff that Southern Lord Records has been putting out lately. But outside of that, it's not, a genre that I'm super expert on, or I guess maybe not the most expert on. Generally, I do like it, but that's pretty much as far as my toes have been dipped. Please check out Hovey Benjamin, my Nigerian. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. You totally made me walk into that one. Thank you. Please check out Hovey Benjamin. Thank you for your service, Mr. Melon Man. Okay. All right, I'll check it out. I'll save that recommendation. Thank you very much. I hate that the super chats disappear like that. Why do they do that? Can YouTube fix that? Can YouTube fix that shit? Thank you very much, Steveman. Redden boy. Daniel Sobel. What is Rolling Stone reputation when it list of 50 best albums 2017 has Taylor Swift album at number 7 and Sam Smith album at number 10? Oh yeah, and how high the U2 album was as well, even though it had only been out for maybe a few weeks, a week by the time that they came out with their list. Yeah, I don't really like Rolling Stone's lists. I don't care for them. I feel like their lists are kind of just reflective of how out of touch the publication is at this point. I just really do not care for Rolling Stone's lists as of right now. Hey Melon, love your live streams and content. Who are your favorite music reviewers on YouTube or any other outlets? I haven't been watching a whole lot of reviews or reading a whole lot of reviews lately. I still do like Zoe Camp's reviews quite a bit. And I still do enjoy how methodical and sort of over-analytical a lot of Tiny Mixtapes reviews are. And I like Sean C's reviews quite a bit. I do like the coverage that he does of records. I do like Sean C's reviews. And again, not formally a reviewer, but I do like Oliver of Deep Cut stuff. As far as like newer faces, you guys already know Dead End Hip Hop and friggin' Big Quint and, Cover Killer and, all those guys that have been doing it for so long. ARTV, Spectrum Pulse, you're most likely familiar with those guys at this point. But as far as newer faces, those are kind of my favorites as of right now. Hey, Melon, love your I'm reading that twice. Do you think Phil Elverum complaining online about low album sales for A Crow Looked at Me is relative to its critical acclaim undermines the album's concept of processing his wife's death? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, and I didn't see Phil's complaints, so I don't know exactly what he said. Listen, I mean, it's obviously a very personal album. It's a very serious album. It's a very dark album. And it's a record that, you kind of suffer through in a way because its subject matter is so intense and it is so sad. However, it's still an album that he recorded, an album that he worked on, an album that, he needs to help make ends meet so that he can continue to build a future for himself and his child. So I don't begrudge him wanting to make sure that the album sells an adequate amount of copies. However, I think that album, as much as people who have listened to it and experienced it will praise it, you do have to kind of understand and I guess appreciate that it's not an album everybody really wants to experience. You know what I mean? It's not an experience everybody wants to have in their music. There are a lot of people out there who like sadder music, but that album in some ways is like almost traumatic, and I've talked with friends of mine who have not heard the album and do like a lot of Phil's stuff, and me trying to sell the album to them, they're just like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm that interested in that. I have friends of mine who really have enjoyed a lot of Phil's music in the past, and I just can't convince them to give the record a shot, So again, I think the topic, I think the intensity, I think the subject matter, it can be a tough sell for some people, but if you're willing to kind of stick with it and really listen through, you probably will get a lot out of it, which is why, the reviews are probably very positive. Have I thought of doing an Illinois classic review? Not really as of this point. Not really. There are a lot of other classics I'd rather address. A lot of other records I'd rather talk about. What's your favorite Modest Mouse album? Have I ever considered doing a classic review on them? Maybe. My favorites are probably Lonesome Crowded West and their debut record. And I don't think it's my favorite of theirs, but I also love Good People a lot. The only record of theirs, as far as like their prime years that I find to be a little overrated is Moon in Antarctica. Outside of that, I think everything that they've done is like pretty great, Good People and before. Thoughts on Nas It Was Written? It's all right, it's not bad. Also, Old English is the best Freddie Gibbs guest verse to date, right? Maybe? I haven't heard all of his guest verse, but that's a really fucking sick guest verse. I will say that. But Nas It Was Written, I mean, it's obviously not like his worst record or anything like that. He was still in a way kind of in his prime during that era in his career. So it is pretty enjoyable in my opinion, despite the fact that generally there are a lot of people that kind of immediately hate on everything that came out right after Illmatic. But I still think it's one of his better projects. Hey, Anthony, are any general opinions on Nils Fromm and his style of music? Generally, I think his music is kind of interesting, but I was giving a listen to his new record, and this person says, what is Tyga? What are you hiding? Tyga is a band that I used to be in. Everybody on the fucking internet knows this already, so nobody's hiding anything. This has been a known fact for years. Why haven't you caught up with the rest of us? Why have you been living under a rock, Joel? Why have you been living under a rock? I'm going to take this $20 you gave me. I'm going to pay somebody to come to your house and remove the rock that you're living under. And once they have removed that rock, you will be free. You'll be free of the rock. And then you'll be able to come out from under the rock. And you'll be living out from under it. I love you. But I've been listening to Nils's latest record, and I don't know. I just found the combination of very super subtle electronic beats and like very vaguely neoclassical instrumentation as being just a little bland and uninteresting. Just sort of struck me as very run of the mill and just not a whole lot of bite, not a whole lot of flavor. And again, I do typically like his blend of minimalism and repetition and classical instrumentation, but on that record, it just didn't really strike me as having that much weight. But generally, he is an artist like with this latest LP. When he comes out with a new record, I'm typically intrigued. Oh, okay, let me check that out. He usually is doing something a little experimental or adventurous. What makes ICP so bad? What's your take on their music? Actually, I mean, I think like that Great Milenko era, they had some like decent tracks. I just think a lot of people cringe at their whole style and aesthetic, and I think a lot of people who are just snobbish just really hate their fans. You know what I mean? They just hate the fans. They just hate that they're like pothead rednecks that aren't super self-aware and fashionable and all that other bullshit. I think most people who are super hypercritical of ICP Sure, they probably find them and the clown makeup really goofy and everything. And listen, a lot of their late era stuff is pretty like fucking god awful and like totally like impossible for me to like listen to or enjoy. But like great Malenko era stuff. And honestly, even like some like Twisted songs off of like a few of their earlier and bigger releases are not really that bad. You know, there's certainly like a particular style and I guess kind of grace to the higher points in ICP's discography. And when I was in like junior high, I liked some of their stuff too. So, you know, it's really not the worst thing in the world that you could listen to. Schoolboy Q's albums worst to best. I would see no point in that personally, because like, I mean, I guess unless I rank them right now, but I'm not like probably going to do a video on that since he's probably still coming out with music all the time. And the dust is really kind of yet to truly settle on his discography. You know what I mean? But, I would probably have to put, all right, let me get back out of here and go back, not to Twitter, go to over here. And I would probably put Habits and Contradictions as, I think, his worst. No, I mean, Setbacks is probably his worst. Then Habits and Contradictions, Blank Face, and then Oxymoron. I think Oxymoron is his best. And Blank Face, it's a mess, but it's an ambitious mess, you know, in my opinion. You know, you have to admire it, I guess, for what he was trying to do. Your boy Fantony making bank. Oh, thank you very much, Harry, for adding $10 more to that bank. And hey, if I'm missing your super chat, I'm going to go down to the super chats after and try to get to all the ones that might have slipped by me. So, have I ever heard of Intuit throat singer Tanya Tagaq? I have heard her name. If so, thoughts on her amazing music? I've heard her name before. And did she come out with an album very recently? Because that's what, yes. I think I talked about her last album I talked about Retribution in a Why You Know review. There were some really freaky vocal points on that record, like really freaky shit. I'm recognizing it now from the album cover. Like, to me, it did come off a little gimmicky though, but there were like definitely some parts on that friggin' record that were fucking nightmarish. And I really did appreciate that about the album. But if you guys are unfamiliar with this Canadian artist's music, please do check her stuff out. Tanya Tagaq, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I might not. But her 2016 album is titled Retribution. It was a bit of a minor, I guess, obscurity. Or I guess no, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is like it was a bit of a hidden gem, I guess, of 2016. Like, there were a lot of experimental music fans out there who were loving it, but it was not getting a whole lot of, like, super big mainstream hype and press. Quincy Jones told me he thinks you ain't shit. Thoughts? Well, Quincy Jones can suck this melon, okay? He can suck this melon if he wants. All right? All right, Quincy Jones? All right, Quincy Jones, you could suck on this melon if you want. Suck on this melon, man. Suck on this melon, boy. Come and get it. Come and get it, boy. Come and suck on this melon, Quincy. I don't know what the hell that was or why it even went in that direction. But thank you very much, Maiden Mex. What are your top 3 favorite metal shirts you own? Oh, you know, I love my Death shirt right now. I love my Kveler Talk shirt. And I love my Sun shirts. I probably love my White Sun shirt the most. Those are my favorite metal shirts right now. Oh, and my Nails shirt. Oh, no, do I love... I think I might love my Nails shirt more than my Kveler Talk shirt. Swap in the Nails shirt. Oh, I hate you, Super Chat. I hate you, Super Chat. YouTube disappearing. Oh. Inuit. Throat singer. I'm an idiot. Do I plan on reviewing the new recording of Twin Fantasy? Hell yes. I'm actually very excited for it. I've been enjoying the re-recording so far. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the new Car Seat Headrest album is going to be a re-recorded version of one of his very lo-fi, old-school Bandcamp records from a little while back. One which I didn't really care for all that much, even though I saw it making the rounds again and again and again. But I'm liking the re-recordings a lot. I really am. I underpaid for that I underpaid for that quality fucking. Thank you very much, Joel. Thank you very much. That's you didn't have to go that far with it, man, but thank you. Thank you. Do you really have any video game soundtracks that you really like? I know it's a bit basic, but Guitar Hero 3 is my personal favorite. Maybe it is a bit basic, but I guess that's a good soundtrack as any. I love the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks. Those are fucking classic. Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger are a couple of my favorites. But of course, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so of course I love the Mario soundtracks, Yoshi soundtracks, Kirby soundtracks, Zelda soundtracks, of course, Ocarina of Time. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. Those are some of my favorites. And fuck Sonic. Fuck that soundtrack. Oh, and the Mega Man soundtrack, especially on Mega Man 2, was awesome. That was a fucking lit soundtrack. Hey, Melon, do I plan on listening to or reviewing the 6ix9ine tape that is coming out at the end of February? I'm considering it. I don't see why not at this point. From everything I've seen and read about the guy, he seems like a total scumbag. However, it seems like his music is just way too relevant to ignore. And yeah. So, and I'm probably going to be sort of like shoved into covering it by my audience anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I'm anticipating that's going to be the case. Maybe nobody will really care and suggest that I review it. And if that ends up being the case, then maybe I'll sort of, bow out of that and go cover something I think is more interesting. But as of right now, I'll just say that's what I'm anticipating will end up being the case. Hey, Melonhead, I'm really into experimental drone and noise-related artists. What would you recommend me to listen to? Hope your night is going well. I mean, obviously some Tim Hecker, obviously some Prurient, obviously some Sun, obviously some Earth, obviously, I don't know, some Merzbow, obviously some Boredoms, obviously the dronier records in the Boris discography, obviously... Stars of the Lid, obviously William Basinski. Have I listed off enough peoples yet? Have I listed off enough peoples? Also, I would check out Cranky Records, Kranky. They actually put out a fair amount of sort of droney and ambient music and experimental music over the course of the year. Check out their discography, and Constellation Records drops a lot of music in that similar vein as well. So I'll leave it at that. Do I see physical music going away? Best Buy dumping CDs, Target threatening no payment until sale of CD, also record sales growth nearing a plateau. I think there's probably always going to be room for some physical copies of records, especially because there is going to be a sector of the music industry where you have fans that essentially, like me and mostly like you guys, or not mostly, but more likely you guys, who kind of treat music in the same way that comic book nerds treat comic books. Like we're obsessed with it. We want to own the physical copy, or we want to kind of have some like representation of this thing that we really love and is near and dear to our hearts, which is why I think you kind of see as, sales are going down, you sort of still have the vinyl revolution happening. So I think there's always going to be room for some physical media to a degree, some CDs, some records, but it's probably going to continue to diminish, honestly. I don't think we've hit the bottom of where it's going to be. And even after it totally disappears, there's still going to be a market out there for all of the old records left over. People are still probably going to be doing record shows and stuff like that, trying to trade and sell older albums. So if there is ever going to be a point in time where there's no physical copies of music anywhere ever, it's going to be a while. It's really going to be a while. Your boy sent a $20 a question about YG a while ago, but it got skipped. Hey, dude, listen, everybody. I'm sorry if I miss your super chat. I'm going to be going back and getting the ones that I missed because I know that they, disappear, which fucking sucks. But if I missed your super chat, I'm going to go back and get it. So, don't waste a bunch of more money to try to send another super chat. I will, try to go down and try to find other super chats I missed. So I'm sorry about that, but. Have I listened to anything from the London Jazz Collective We Out Here? I have not. I've never even heard of them. If so, what are your questions or what are your opinions? Will I be doing a review of the full album? I don't even know what the full album is. Did it just come out this year? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to save that suggestion because I'm unfamiliar with them, and a London jazz collective called We Out Here sounds kind of interesting. Thank you very much, Zach. Hey, Anthony, opinions on Rex Orange County. Keep up the good work. I think he's a cool musician. You know, I'm not so much into his solo work as much as I am what he's done for other artists like Tyler, but, you know, seems like he's got a good thing going. And, you know, I'll just leave it at that. Opinion on X's early noisy stuff, sipping tea. Also, how about This Heat? This Heat is great. I sent this one twice because it disappeared the first time. I'm sorry about that. I think X's early noisier stuff is very fun. It's very hype. It's very entertaining. That's what got me aware of his music in the first place, and probably most people. You know, it's just kind of like very fun. It's very surface level. It's very like, you know, adrenaline pumping. There's not really too much to say about it. It's kind of like a lot of old school crazy punk music. You know what I mean? It's very nihilistic. It's very angry. It's kind of aggressive for the sake of aggression. And that just kind of is what it is. I have heard Pale Waves, but I find them a little bland in my opinion. But Sarah, thank you very much for supporting. Hey, Anthony Fantano, do I have a favorite Queens of the Stone Age album? It's probably rated R. If not, you know, Like Clockwork, which I legitimately do think is one of their best projects. But rated R is probably, yeah, it's actually better. My other super chat died. Different question. I would be interested in a national anthem's best to worst. Well, I have not heard all of the national anthems, so I really cannot say. But aside from the American national anthem, the Canadian national anthem and the Russian national anthem are both pretty badass. But outside of that, I can't really say. But if you guys decide to like the One Banana, like I said, I'm going to be going down and trying to get to the super chats I missed. And if I missed your super chat, but you really want to send in another, you really want to ask another question, you know, you can ask a different question, sort of like the One Banana here did. And I'll try to get to your old question later toward the, you know, finish of the episode to get the ones that I missed. Hey, Melon, when is the next Tyga album coming out? It's coming out next month. It's going to be 3 discs, and Ray Sremmerd is going to feature on every song. Are you going to review the debut Superorganism album? Also, thoughts on Atmosphere. Atmosphere is pretty good, but I find their discography to be kind of inconsistent. And I'm not really that enamored with Slug's style. I know a lot of people are, and I see the impact he's had on the hip-hop community is very significant, and that cannot be denied. But I'm just not really like the biggest Atmosphere fan. And I have not heard of the new Superorganism album, so I'm just going to have to look that up afterwards. But thank you for the suggestion. I need your opinion on the dinner scene with the father from the Freedom Writers. Is the father a sexist? I've not even seen this, so I really literally have no opinion on this. So I'm just going to have to move on, but thank you very much. Let me die. Will I review Judas Priest's new album Firepower when it comes out? Holy shit. There's going to be a new Judas Priest album this year. I mean, I guess I've reviewed the latest Metallica, and I think I reviewed the newest Iron Maiden album, so I don't know. No, I did review it. So a Priest album, maybe. You know, I do love some older Priest records. Also, which Brockhampton member will you dress as for Halloween this year? I mean, I'm going to color myself blue, get in the orange jumpsuit, and really at that point, I'll be any Brockhampton member I want, you know, because they're all in orange jumpsuits and blue. So I'll just pretty much be whatever, you know, I'll just be an extra. I'll be a stand-in. You know, I'll be an extra Brockhampton member. You finally caved and mini-reviewed Vulfpeck's Mr. Finish Line, which a lot of fans feel is their weakest album yet. Any thoughts to share on their previous works? I guess I could see why some fans would feel that way about the record. I mean, maybe some of the features bogged the album down a little bit, but personally, a lot of the things that I didn't like about the previous record, I also did not really care for with, you know, the records they put out before that. So, and when I say previous, I mean their latest. So I'm sorry about that. You know, because it just kind of feels like somewhat run-of-the-mill, sort of jazzy, sort of funky funk music. where the playing is not that muscular, the grooves are not that exciting. It just kind of seems like a very gentle, like elevator funk to me, and I guess I'll just have to leave it at that. Oh, come on. These things are disappearing right before my very eyes, and it's messing everything up. Okay. Will I ever do a classic review of Hybrid Theory or even Meteora? I mean, if I ever did a review of a Linkin Park album, an older one, it would definitely be Hybrid Theory. And I'm not exactly sure as of this point, but I was listening to My Chemical Romance's The Black Parade the other day, and I'm actually considering maybe do a classic review of that. Have you ever heard of Death Clock? Hell yes. Hell yes. Fucking Metalocalypse is a hilarious show. Yes, that is the thing. You missed my last super chat, by the way. I'm sorry about that. And somebody asked me in a super chat, and I missed it. Fuck. What was the question? It was a good one that I really wanted to answer. It was a $5 one. Shit. I'm just gonna have to go back to it. There's so many. Did you hear the rapper Shad's side project, Adult Contempt, back in 2016? I did not. I didn't know he had a side project. It seems no one did, but I thought it was pretty friggin' charming. Is it different from his usual shtick? You know, I'm curious, but no, I didn't even hear about that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Let me see. Were you ever a fan of the Epifat punk bands? Oh, okay. That's a cute way of naming it. In the 80s and 90s, a lot of that 80s and 90s super melodic, like skate punk stuff. Some of it's cool. Some of it's not, you know, for me personally, like, my buddy Ben has been turning me on to a lot of NoFX's earlier stuff, and I've actually been like warming up to it quite a bit. I do like some older Propaganda records a lot, when they were sort of much funnier and a little bit more tongue in cheek. But generally, like the Fat Wreck Chord sound just really kind of did nothing for me, especially in the 2000s. Bad Religion is okay. There's obviously like a lot of talent in what they do, but you know, I've never really been all that excited about their stuff personally. You know, I've always just been more into like kind of straight hardcore or just like straight pop punk type stuff. Hey, Anthony, are you going to review the 88 Glam Project? I don't even know what that is. So, I mean, I'll have to look it up, but I'm not truly aware of what it is right now. Huge fan, your biggest Twitter spammer. That is Brad Taste in Music. He is truly my biggest Twitter spammer, and he has a review channel himself. And fellow reviewer, this $5 was my first payout on Patreon. You're my OG influence. Heard of Orphaned Land? I think so. What the? Why is that? That sounds familiar, but now I'm reading that they're an Israeli heavy metal band, and I don't think I'm aware of that at all. But it looks like they actually have some pretty well-reviewed stuff. So, and it looks like they dropped a record this year. So I guess I'll try to give that a shot. Thank you very much, Brad. And continue with your Brad taste in music. Hey, when I went to Brockhampton, it was batshit crazy and a bit much, but it was perfect and barricaded. So carried Matt for a bit. What about you? P.S. Saw the show review. I'm also releasing a project soon. Can you help? I don't know how I can help or what your project is even going to sound like. That'll all, you know, and whether or not it's a quality project will depend on whether or not, I mean, I don't really co-promote albums. I mean, I can review it if I like it and I think it's worth sharing and I think it's worth talking about. But, outside of that, you know, unless you're looking for maybe some advice or something. But I'm glad you had fun at the Brockhampton show. I did too. My New York show was crazy and, would love to see them again, maybe in 2019 if they do another tour. Slightly off topic here, but curious, who is your favorite philosopher? Nietzsche? He's a little too, I don't know. I think his view of the world personally is just a little too negative for me. Marx? No, not really. I feel like he has sort of a childlike sense of fairness that I don't think works in the real world. Plato was pretty good, and Rousseau I think was really good. And who else? Who was the? I'm trying to think. I mean, would you call Chomsky a philosopher too? He's really more of a political commentator in a way, but I think I consider him a philosopher of sorts. Definitely him. Definitely Socrates, but not Aristotle. I think Aristotle's views on art were fucked. But outside of that, I'm not really like a philosopher king or anything like that. Guys like Kant, for example, who like hardcore philosophy nerds just like go crazy for, just confuses the fuck out of me and just really kind of does nothing for me. But philosophy and philosophers is something that I have quite a bit of respect for, because it's just writing papers and throwing them out there and just like writing ideas down and writing out worldviews down. It's kind of like just like getting in front of a camera and fucking vlogging and like throwing your opinion out there. You know what I mean? Hi, Mr. Fantano. I sent you my album back in early January. I was just wondering if you got a chance to check it out yet. I don't. The Sedonas. Let's see. I'm going to save it in my browser over here and make sure that I try it. So after tonight, you can rest knowing, oh yes, I did hear this. And I thought it was okay. The vocals kind of turned me off a little bit. But some of the riffs and some of the grooves are really good. But yeah, I guess I was slightly turned off by the vocals. But what really kind of made me enthusiastic to try it out is that the website and sort of the presentation and the album art and even the production, it all sounds very professional. I will say that even though it's not entirely my cup of tea, that you guys really have put like a professional grade project together from what it looks like on the outside. And I think as long as you're kind of approaching your craft, looking at it that way, there are going to be people who it sort of turn some heads and are enthused to try it because it looks like you've put a lot of work into it, which I don't think a lot of musicians sort of understand is kind of key. If it doesn't look like you've put together like a professional grade project, or at least something with an aesthetic that the audience that you're targeting is going to be interested in, then you could pretty much kiss any chance of people wanting to try your music goodbye. What are your thoughts on the Growlers and Nick Drake? Nick Drake is great, but the Growlers I find to be kind of a run-of-the-mill rock band. What do I think of the new Enter the Shikari's album, The Spark? I think I talked about it a little bit in a Why You Know review, but maybe I could be wrong on that. I kind of liked some of the funkier and more dance and more electronic elements that worked themselves into the new record. However, I still did find the band's style of songwriting and the vocals kind of grating after listening to the entire thing. You shared a little bit about your experience performing music. How many projects have you been in, and how many hours do you practice a day? Personally, I have made a commitment to myself personally to make time to either read for a half an hour to an hour today or to practice music. Because I just totally just like let my bass chops go like almost throughout all of 2016 and for a great deal of 2015. And so as a result, like I'm just like sworn off of watching bad TV. I'm just like sworn off of playing video games. And, I'm like trying to spend more time with my loved ones and just playing music. And it's actually improved my mood quite a bit and has made me a lot happier and I guess I don't want to say mentally stable, because before I didn't really feel mentally unstable, but I don't know. It's made me feel more relaxed and made me feel more focused in a good way. Certainly it's learning an instrument and becoming better at it because I'm sort of, looking more at lessons again and learning more scales and stuff like that, and practicing tricks that I had never really kind of learned before. I didn't have the patience to force myself to learn. Doing that is much more gratifying than, sort of throwing my time away into something else that you don't really kind of, I guess, kind of truly get a real world kind of benefit or talent out of. But I guess that's just kind of me and what I get enjoyment from. Thank you very much, Connor. Alejandro says, "Hey, Anthony, check out this album, Magnetic Overload by Pollock. Came out last year. It is my album of the year. And they're kind of a small band from Valencia. Maybe you'll like them." Oh, well, that's good. Your album of the year? That's a high recommendation. I'll save that. I have popped that in my suggestion box, and I'll try to give that a shot. Thanks, man. Wait, okay, here we go. I'm running out of money. Sent some chats earlier, so check them out. I will check out chats that I miss. If you guys send more super chats, ask a different question because I'm gonna go back to the super chats I missed and get to those. Excuse me. Thoughts on Scary Hours by Drake. I talked about that track in one of my latest Best Worst Tracks videos, and personally, even though it is like a #1 single, I do find it to be one of his more mediocre tracks that he's released in a while. Just kind of sounds like a bunch of stuff he's done before, and there weren't really that many quotables on the A side. Much more quotables on the B side, but to me, it just kind of felt like a kind of boring song. Hey, thoughts on Magnetic Fields, more specifically 69 Love Songs. It's a great album. Moreover, we're linked to Oliver at Deep Cuts, but you should check out our net label, Bloom Punches compilation. Bloom Punches compilation, smiley kitty face. All right. Oliver at Deep Cuts. He knows everybody. He knows everybody. I'm not, although after punching that into a thing, I don't see it. So I don't know. Maybe have Oliver contact me about it or something. Because I think we follow each other on Twitter. But 69 Love Songs, I think, is a great album. I was kind of hoping that Merritt would bring the same amount of ambition and focus that he had on that record with his 50-song memoir project, but unfortunately he didn't. But, what makes 69 Love Songs great is just kind of the quirky, hilarious concept and the versatility of songs across the entire record. The sense of humor, also the passion, the seriousness that went into a lot of those songs. It's a great record. Will we ever get a Milo Yiannopoulos meme review? Well, since the meme review is dead, maybe what we can hope for at this point is maybe a cringing with Milo, but he hasn't really said anything about art or music from what I'm aware of as of late. So I guess if you see him talking some dumb shit about some arts and culture stuff, I guess let me know. But is he even doing anything anymore? Like, he just seems to have completely fallen off the radar since he got caught saying that dumb shit on the Drunken Peasants. And I guess for good reason, because what he said was fucking dumb as fuck. And I don't know, like, you can point out that you don't like SJWs, the most authoritarian of all of them, which, obviously they're wrong. However, like, your ideas are shit, dude. Your ideas are shit. Like, you feel like the answer, the antidote to that is, like, basically Donald Trump's policies? Get the fuck out of here. Have I heard of Oliver Hazard yet? New folk band out of Ohio. Pretty good playing at Bonnaroo this year. They're pretty good and playing at Bonnaroo this year. No, I have not. I will save that suggestion. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Lydia Lunch and no wave music in general. No wave music is fantastic. Lydia Lunch, fucking James Chance, DNA, Mars, all those bands are fucking crazy. I just love how noisy and, I don't know, just like anti-music a lot of those acts were. And just so raw and fucking animalistic. Your review of Veteran was an appreciated introduction. Did I happen to listen to Celestiphone yet? I don't think I did. Let me do a refresher there. I'm glad that you liked the JPEG Mafia. No, I've not listened to the Celestiphone yet. I'm fucking up on that. But I'm going to try to see JPEG Mafia on tour very soon because I know he's touring with Milo and Elucid. So do keep an eye out for that. Some of you guys, JPEG Mafia may be coming to a city near you. Am I a fan of classical? I like some classical music, but honestly, I don't really talk about it because I'm such a fucking pleb when it comes to classical that I really have no bearings when it comes to critiquing it or commenting on it properly. Would I ever consider reviewing movie soundtracks? Not really. Not too many. I might review the new Black Panther one because it's like a TDE curated one and there's like a lot of original music on there and stuff. But generally, I'm not very much a movie soundtracks review guy. Hey Fantano, love the channel. One day you will be reviewing my albums with a yellow flannel. Favorite Bruce Springsteen album? Fucking either Nebraska or Born in the USA, bitch. And I welcome that challenge. Make that fucking yellow flannel album, you bastard. Plans on another tour? Yes, I would like to do another tour. However, right now, things are still kind of up in the air for that because I am still doing cleanup on what had happened to me last year. You guys keep an eye and an ear out for updates on that. Watch my social media, watch our subreddit, and you will just kind of wait and see what's going on. Hey, what do I think of PewDiePie carrying on the torch of the meme review? PewDiePie was nice enough to hit me up in a DM and say, hey, I want to keep doing the meme review. Is it okay if I keep doing the meme review? And I said to him, yeah, sure, it's fine. I'm not doing it right now. I don't know what the future of the series holds as of this very moment. So, just do what you feel like doing, do what you got to do. And I just left it at that. However, and while that offer has not been rescinded, I will say that I feel like some of his recent meme review episodes have been very mediocre and not funny, and just a very mediocre ripoff of what me and Vapor Rub Boy were doing. Honestly, I don't think it's going to get better than that, honestly. And I do truly think that is the plan, was one of the greatest channels that YouTube ever had. But I guess as of right now, how you should and could think about it is just like, a very good Adult Swim show that lasted a few seasons. Let's look at it that way for right now. Hi, Daddy. Thoughts on 1,000 mods? Also, check out Bask, Ramble, Beyond. I've no idea what the hell 1,000 mods is. And I don't even think I've seen that Bask album. Ramble Beyond Bask. That sounds like, man, that is very elaborate cover art. Is this going to be something I hate? I hope not. Looks like there's connections here. Oh, mastered by Chris Common, Isis the Sword, Chelsea Wolf. Okay, might be good. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Oh, come on, man, come on. Where are you disappearing to? There we go. I'm a small EDM producer. What is the most ideal way for me to get my music out there? Also, review Soy Boys. Love to my favorite melon. Yeah, the Soy Boys thing is kind of like the most idiotic, dumb shit that I've heard in a long time. Like, your melon over here eats quite a bit of soy, and your boy over here, all these alt-right retards saying soy boy every 5 minutes. I could fucking punch them in the face so hard that their face is just imprinted in the back of their fucking skull. So, like, I don't get the whole soy boy thing, because your boy over here, he's fucking yoked on that fucking soy. So, personally, I don't really get it. I got more balls and more testosterone than half of these pussies saying soy boy every 5 minutes. So, I don't know. Like, having concern for other people or whatever, does that make you a soy boy? I mean, I guess. But I'm not so concerned about my fellow human being that if you mess with me in public, I won't kill you. So, there we go. What is an ideal way for me to get my music out there? I would say like SoundCloud, especially if you're an EDM producer. There's a lot of electronic music fans over there. And SoundCloud, EDM is very much a singles genre. And it's very much a singles genre. Like, you want to be on YouTube, you want to be on SoundCloud, you want to be on places where that shit is popping. And you want to just be consistently delivering new stuff. I don't know, maybe like come out with new tracks and just like name the tracks after bullshit that like people are like searching for in a search engine, Because fuck it, why not? I don't know. Those are some of my suggestions. Which album do I prefer, Nevermind or In Utero? I think I like the rawness of In Utero a little bit more. But Nevermind obviously has the hits. Let's see. Milk It is my favorite Nirvana song by far. That is a good song. Hey, Melon, I know you said you don't like Midori. They're okay. I don't hate them or nothing. But I really do think you should check out their live performances. Or, are they different? Mariko Gatto is such an eccentric front woman. You're really sleeping on them, man. Listen, I mean, I've heard some of the records. I don't think they're terrible. I just find the way that they combine jazz and punk music to just be a little grating, a little obnoxious. But that's not to say that it isn't unique. I definitely think it's definitely unique. But that's not to say, I think it's super appealing to me, but I guess I'll just leave it at that. But I do appreciate that you guys are passionate. I can't fault the passionate submissions that the fans of this band have sent in repeatedly. Love your hip hop reviews. Small time SC South Carolina rapper here. Looking for feedback on my top single 27K. What makes you pay attention to artists on that small of a scale? SoundCloud, John Rap, Slowdown. I guess if you just sort of get the stuff to me sort of over Twitter or something like that, or sent to my email, anthony@theneedledrop.com. I do get a lot of submissions from fans. I do check a lot of them out. And, if it's good, then I talk about it or I share it. If it's not that good, I just kind of go on about my day and just go do my next thing. Have I seen the teaser for Carpenter Britt's new album? I have not, but that's actually exciting. Let me actually look up. Because I've said I would most likely cover the next album. So I just punched that into my search engine or my search bar, and I'm going to look that up, the release date for the new record. Thank you very much for making me aware of that. Love the channel. Did I ever give Lot of Sea Lice with Courtney Barnett and Kurt Vile a full listen? I did. I just thought it was okay. I think that they had some charming chemistry together and everything, but I think the end result of the record was a little bland, a little uniform, a little samey. I feel like that chemistry only went so far. But it did have some good tunes on it. And somebody was asking earlier, and it just dawned on me now. They had a $5 super chat, and I wanted to answer it. They asked, am I a fan of Kimya Dawson? And yes, I do love a lot of Kimya's earlier work, and especially, her anti-punk stuff that she was, or I guess you could say anti-folk stuff, rather, that she was recording with Adam Green back in the day. Because I was a fan and was aware of Kimya Dawson's music, that was how I ended up dating my now wife, because she was a Kimya Dawson fan as well. And online, she was making like a Kimya Dawson reference, like a little bit more of an obscure one. I was like, hey, you into that? You into that Kimya Dawson there? And that's how we met. So there's a fun fact. There's a fun fact for you. A fun love fact from your boy. Let me get this one because it's going to disappear. You reviewed Nerd's latest album. What is your favorite song from their other albums? Pretty much all my favorite songs earlier from Nerd's work come off of their pretty much the biggest hits from their debut record. The reason for that being that album and those songs, were so fucking huge at the time. Like when I was a kid, when I was younger, when I was a teenager. Like the stuff that came out with after didn't quite have kind of the hooky, rocky kind of feel that I really liked off of that debut album. Let's see. Did I get a chance to check out Crash Course's In Science new album? Are we talking? Okay. I think they are a very underrated industrial post-punk. Oh, okay. Crash Course in Science. No. Is that so? I've never even heard of that band before. And they came from all the way back then, and they were an industrial band. I'm not even aware of them, honestly. But that sounds like it would pique my interest. An industrial band like from the 70s. That sounds like it would pique my interest. Thank you very much for suggesting. But they have a new album, so I have not checked that out. Queso, a spotlight your channel has is your slick use of words. I got to know, what are your favorite books? And do you do a lot of writing outside of music? I don't do a lot of writing outside of music. My favorite books, honestly, are usually just like nonfiction books and stuff. I don't know exactly why that is. I just prefer, reading historical things. And things about music, like I'm reading David Byrne's How Music Works right now currently. After that, I'm hoping to move on to this post-punk book that I bought. And a friend of mine, Vadim, was making a suggestion about an interview book full of all these interviews from punk artists. But honestly, I think I get a lot of my sort of slick words and everything just from my years in radio. and just listening to a lot of talking heads and sort of radio personalities and people who sort of talk for a living. That's something that I've sort of paid a lot of attention to over the years and have kind of immersed myself in. And I think if there's anything to sort of owe, that it's certainly my efforts and the attention I've paid to those particular fields and people. Ayo Fantano, any thoughts on European free jazz? Brotzman is pretty cool. Parker and Gustafsson, I don't think I'm aware of. Also, more jazz reviews in 2018. Yes, I totally fucking failed on jazz reviews in 2017, and I'm hoping to make sure that I review at least a few jazz albums in 2018. And of course, you guys can always help me do that. If you hear a jazz album that has come out this year and you think it's good, you think it's worth talking about, don't just sit back and assume I'm going to review it. Hit me up on social media, hit me up especially on Twitter, and just like remind me it's out there, or hit me up with an email, put it in the comments of my videos, just like make sure I'm aware of it. And, hopefully we'll end up seeing coverage. Hi, Anthony. Just listened a couple times to your bass work on Taiga and found it quite good. Are you going to work on any band thing in the near future, or is it just a hobby? As of right now, I'm just going to say hobby. I have no plans on forming or joining any bands at the moment. What I'm doing currently with my work keeps me plenty busy, and my family as well. So I don't really have the time to start sinking time into meeting people and practicing and recording and potentially touring or any of that shit. But as of right now, thank you very much for enjoying that. I do appreciate it. I've always I'm not going to say hated, but I've always had my reservations with the album myself because I'm so pissed that the recording came out so shit. But, it just didn't end up coming out to my liking. I had a very specific idea in mind as to how I wanted it to sound, and the recording process was like totally awful. And as a result, I feel like the quality of the album really lacks. But recently I was kind of revisiting it and thinking, man, some of what we were doing was pretty cool, even though I was blatantly ripping off Godspeed and Son. But yeah, there you go. Is your opinion on Ultraviolence still the same? Yes, I still find that album to be very mediocre. But thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda Stylinson. Amanda Stylinson, thank you. Did I watch Tyler, the Creator's Flower Boy Conversation? I didn't. And I probably should go back and do that. I did not. But I was sort of staring at it for a little bit, and I just didn't end up having time to watch it that day. But I probably should put that on at the gym or something and give it a listen. However, sometimes I don't like to dive too deeply into interviews, especially when they're interviews about particular albums, because sometimes I feel like it can ruin kind of the magic and the mystique of a record, but I don't know. Tyler's a pretty interesting guy. Hey, Melon, do I think alternative R&B as a name is tacky, like some artists Frank Ocean and Twigs believe? I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a tacky thing, just given its name. There's alternative rock, there's alternative metal, there's alternatives, quote unquote, to a lot of popular established genres. So no, I don't really think it's that, corny. What I think is corny about alternative R&B is that you have so many artists out there who are kind of homogenizing the sound around these very bland chord structures and weak singing and a whole ton of atmosphere and reverb. That to me is tacky. People like Frank and Twigs are making the genre sort of refreshing by bringing something a little different to the table. I just wanted to ask your opinion on Belle and Sebastian's The Life in Pursuit. Also, what were your favorite and least favorite tracks from Meriwether Post Pavilion? I cannot remember my least favorite tracks off of Meriwether Post Pavilion off the top of my head, but I mean, some of my favorites have to be like Bluish. Love Bluish. It's a very pretty song. Obviously, My Girl's opening track is amazing. But outside of that, there's not anything sort of popping up in my head as like super favorites. But I really do love Bluish. It is one of, I guess, if you can call it a ballad, it is one of my favorites. Now, as far as The Life in Pursuit, though, or The Life Pursuit, while it's not my favorite Belle and Sebastian record, I think it could be argued that it's the last great Belle and Sebastian record. You know what I mean? I much prefer, their first like 4 albums for the most part, but it really is the last great Bell and Sebastian album. Melon, love your channel. Thank you for showing some dope tunes over the years. Am I going to buy a HomePod? What is your favorite Eminem album? It's the probably Marshall Mathers LP. I think Marshall Mathers LP is better, but personally I do have more of a soft spot for the Slim Shady record. Do I think he will release another record after the negative reception of the new one? I think he will, but will it be good? I really don't know. But I don't know if I'm going to buy a HomePod. I'm not sure what the hell that is. Is it like an iPod but for the home? Really, I'm not sure. Did I ever listen to Dax? I don't think I did. He released a new mixtape, Tupac Reincarnation Volume 2, told by Dax on YouTube. I'm just like... that title just totally turned me off. I'm just so sick of everybody saying, I'm the new Tupac. I'm the new Tupac. I'm better than Tupac. I'm living through Tupac. Tupac is me. I went back into the past and I cloned myself off of Tupac's DNA and now I'm Tupac. Like, I'm just so fucking sick of it. Like, leave the guy alone. You know, the guy's passed away. Let him live in fucking peace. But I don't know. Maybe the mixtape is good though, but I think that's an awful title. Hey man, Melon, have I given Anna Birch's latest album, Quit the Curse, a listen? It's nothing too special, but it's decent to me. Well, I have not. I can't say I have. My friend, what am I doing here? You're super chatting. Hello, Anthony. I know you don't review movie soundtracks, but I was wondering, do I have any favorite film composers, contemporary or old school? I would say Vangelis, and definitely Ennio Morricone. And John Carpenter. Hey, Anthony, love your reviews so much. Don't really have a question, but my band will be releasing some new music, and I'll be sending it to you, anthony@theneedledrop.com. Hope you check it out. We're called Life Above. Okay, well, it's good to know the name before I see it. I have a question about your Pablo Redo review. While I think it's worth an 8, I'm wondering, have you changed your mind about the lyrics at all? I'm surprised you rated it an 8 despite your past issues. I still think the lyrics are, obviously the line about, the bleach asshole and that shit, I think are bad. However, prior, I don't think some of the lyrics about family, and especially the stuff about his marriage with Kim, were really kind of resonating and sort of translating for me. Those lyrics were finally sort of hitting me. You know what I mean? But outside of, those occasional lines where, you left the fridge open and they stole your sandwich, lines like that are obviously still very corny. However, they don't entirely ruin the album for me. And I would say with the improved production and sound of the album, they kind of work in the overall sonic insanity of the record a little bit more for me. But yeah, lines like that are still pretty horrendous, but I still would slap the album with that score, because I really do think sonically and musically the album has improved quite a bit. And production and mixing, if you guys have been paying attention to my reviews over the years, are very important to me. Obviously I'm not so much of a lyrical stickler that I can't give a positive review to a Little Pump or a Young Thug album. And I think we can all agree that, sure, while there are some cringy lyrics here and there on the new Kanye album, the lyrics are certainly better than what you might find on a Little Pump record, or at least are more interesting in a different way. Let's see. Do you still hate House of Balloons? Yeah, I still don't really care for it. And what would you rate Dirty Mind by Prince? Oh, it's pretty good. I mean, I would definitely rate it higher than, I'm trying to think of the title of it. I definitely would not rate it as high as 1999. But I think it's one of his better early records. Like, I think it's better, certainly, than his self-titled. I definitely think it's better than Controversy. And I guess it's a tighter experience than Sign of the Times, but I too kind of prefer Sign of the Times because it's so much freakier of an experience. And to me, that album is so predictive of a lot of the music that was to come out in the 90s. But overall, I think it's like a good I'll say like a B tier Prince album. Like it's almost just an A album, you know? Like it's not Purple Rain, it's not 1999, it's not Sign of the Times, but it's certainly close. You know, it's like it's like the B plus 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 plus. But yeah, I like it. I'm missing ones. Where are we? Okay, wait. Okay. Do I think Soulja Boy is underrated in a way? No, not really. I mean, I think he definitely went on to influence people like Little B. However, you know, a lot of the stuff that Little B was doing in his music was all for irony and was to troll people and was to get a rise out of people, whereas Soulja Boy was very much doing that shit genuinely. You know, Crank That is a catchy song. Back in the day, I used to know the dance. You know, but the thing is, Soulja Boy's pretty much a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? Like, I don't find him to be underrated. I feel like he served his purpose. He influenced the people he was supposed to influence, but he's not that notable or talented or classic of an artist. You know, his time has come and gone. His 15 minutes are up, and for good reason, you know, because he didn't really have that much to offer. Do I like Hiromi? Tigran Hamasyan, Dafur Yusuf. I have no clue what the hell you just said to me, dude. Well, I mean, obviously you're mentioning artists there, but you're literally just fucking my mind right now and just being like, hey, do I like any of this stuff that I've never heard before? But that's typically what you do, Matthias. That's typically what you do when you show up in these live streams. You're like, bam! Here's some crazy suggestions you've never even heard of, bro. That's what you do. That's you, bro. That's you. And that's why I love you, man. Thank you very much for whoever sent in these 10 Dolores. Alonzo asks, hey Melon, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the new Carpenter Brit as well. What is the biggest disagreement you and your wife have on an album, artist, and how different would you say your tastes are? I wouldn't say my tastes with Dominique are that different. You know, if there is a major disconnect between her taste and my taste, a Beatles classic review and Eminem would get a lot of attention. Maybe I'll consider it in the future. I didn't want to miss these. I'm sorry. Hey, Mr. Mellon, what are your thoughts on X Japan, legendary Japanese band from the late early? I don't even know. Also, I'm the new Tupac. I'm not even familiar with their work. I'm just going to have to save that. But I think the biggest difference between my taste and Dominique's taste is over the years, she has not kept up on super contemporary stuff in the way that I have. And generally, she is a lot less tolerant of mainstream stuff than I am. Like, you guys think that I'm like a hard fucking ass on like mainstream records. Like, she is just like so fucking zero tolerance with a lot of that shit, especially a lot of new Kanye stuff. Like, it's pretty funny. Like, when I started listening to The Life of Pablo again and was sort of very impressed with the new sound of the album and you know, was really excited about it, so much so that I felt like these updates required me to make a video about it. You know, I was telling her about it. I was like, oh man, I've been re-listening to The Life of Pablo and I actually think it's really good. You know, it's actually like near genius in some ways. And I think it's one of Kanye's best albums. And, you know, I was really kind of going crazy about it. And she was just like looking at me like, you know, just like I was fucking nuts. She looked at me like I was fucking insane. And, you know, but I guess that's why I love her. She keeps me, she keeps me grounded in some respects. But you know, she was just like, look, you had to see the look on her face, you know. And I remember when I started listening back to it, it was very late at night. And, she was just like, you're crazy because you're tired. You know, that's why you think it's good or whatever. And then I was replaying some tracks for her and she's like, okay, you know, that does sound better than it used to sound. But you know, still there are a lot of mainstream artists that I really care for that she's not too big into, you know what I mean? But, you know, just kind of is what it is. Let's see. Hey, Big Melon, what's your opinion on Damon Albarn announcing a new Gorillaz album set to release this year? I mean, ultimately, I think that's a good thing because I really feel like I need a new Gorillaz album that is good to wash the taste out of my last Gorillaz album. Also, my Humans review is about to hit 1 million fucking views, which is going to be amazing. But yeah, I'm excited about that. It can't be worse than the new album. It cannot be worse than Humans. It's got to be better. If you're interested, what do I hope Damon does in the new project? I hope he brings back sort of like, I don't know, there were no songs on the record that sounded like 2D songs. You know what I mean? And some of the afterthought tracks that dropped post-release like sounded better than the shit that was on the album. Like, I don't want it to sound like Damon Albarn just producing a bunch of tracks for people who he thinks are cool. I want it to sound like a fucking Gorillaz album. And that's where I'll leave it. What are your thoughts on Justin Timberlake's Prince tribute and the Super Bowl performance? I saw him trying to get like approval from Questlove over it or whatever, and it was like kind of cringy. But I didn't watch that shit because I didn't even care. No, but honestly, I'm not like so anti-sports that I was just like, I'm not going to watch this sport because I think sports are dumb. Like I was literally just busy working, and my wife went to bed early because she wasn't feeling too well. So, and I was up, and I wasn't going to watch the Super Bowl by myself. So I was just like, I'm just going to do some work. Melted is the greatest Ty Segall album. I could see how a fan would say that. I mean, personally, I think it's Emotional Mugger or it's Slaughterhouse, but I could see how you might feel that way. Where would I place Animals in Pink Floyd's discography? I mean, personally, I would place it very much at the top because it is my favorite, but contextually, I would probably place it underneath. Obviously, it would go underneath Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, but I'm not sure if I would place it underneath anything else. You know what I mean? Maybe if I'm feeling a little frisky that day, I might, no, not necessarily. Maybe if I'm feeling a little like, maybe if I'm feeling a little frisky that day, I would place a Wish You Were Here over it. But honestly, like it's like a top 3 Pink Floyd album for me, as far as like context goes. But again, personally, it's right up there at the tippy top because I really think it's great. Also again, if I'm feeling frisky, I might place it up there with Piper. But it really is one of my favorites of theirs, if not my favorite. And Dark Side of the Moon is overrated. Why are some of these super chats still up? They're like frozen there, which is so fucking weird. The other ones disappear, can't see them, and other ones just stay frozen there forever. Come on, YouTube. Dear Melon, the Smiths are my favorite band. What are your opinions on them, and please review? I might do a Queen is Dead review next Classics Week. I was kind of planning it for this previous Classics Week, but then I changed my mind and I did Aphex Twin. So sorry about that to the Smiths fans, but I guess that's a W for the Aphex fans to walk away with. What do I hope to hear from Weezer's upcoming Black album? Okay, honestly, because I know the Black album and I know that I'm probably not going to get any of this, I'm just going to say it. I want the Black album to be the most fucking hardcore, angry, depressed, angsty, and pissed off Weezer album ever. And I would love it if they embrace some black metal elements on the record. None of that is probably going to happen, but that's what the fuck I want. And I want fucking Rivers and every other member on Weezer on the front of that record wearing fucking, like, obviously not real because, your boy is vegan, but I want them wearing like some fake leather, tight leather, everything tight leather, like bikers, like S&M shit. You could do like different leather outfits. You could do a biker outfit. You could do like an S&M sort of, sex slave outfit. Do different leather outfits. That's what I want. That's what I want on the cover of the Black album. So that's what I want. Thank you very much for asking. I hope that was you, Rivers. I hope that was you. Asking like, oh, hey, I'm just going to pretend I'm not Rivers Cuomo. I'm going to ask you a question about what it is you want on the new Weezer album so we get a good score. What do you want on the new Weezer album? I want everyone in leather, bitch. I want everyone in fucking leather. I want everyone in fucking leather. Sorry, I just completely lost control of myself there. When I think about Rivers, Cuomo, and leather, I lose myself in that. I lose myself in it. I sent you this earlier, so just ignore that one, but my friend is obsessed with Fiddlar. And can you say, hey, Jeff, Anthony Fantano here. Fuck dogs, risk life. Please, it would make my life ILY. I mean, isn't it fuck it, dog, life's a risk? But I don't know. Obviously, there was probably some inside joke going on there that I'm not even aware of. Let's see. Okay. Love you, Melon. How does one send you free vinyl to see if you enjoy it? I'd rather that than email links. Honestly, I would rather email links because if I do take a bunch of vinyl promos, which I used to, it used to be that I just had a giant pile of vinyl that I didn't like sitting in my small apartment. And that is not what my wife wants. She does not want that. She does not want a giant pile of unlistened to vinyl hanging out anywhere in the house. I have quite a bit of records, and the reason that they stay in the house is because they are listened to, they are loved, and they are clean. However, a giant dusty pile of records I don't even like, that is not going to fly. And that would get me in trouble. So, so please, email links. And not to say that I wouldn't like your album, though, but if I'm just sort of open, taking whatever vinyl people want to send me, there's going to be a great likelihood that I'm not going to like it. Would I ever consider doing something like a crash course history of music? Also excited for this Black Panther soundtrack and movie. My wife and I definitely want to see the movie, I think, this weekend. I'm pretty excited for it. She's been seeing the reviews, and I'm pretty excited about it, too. I've been seeing the reviews, and, I typically don't jump on the whole comic book movie bandwagon unless it looks like the reviews are really good and people are really loving it. Seems to be the case this time around, so we're going to try to jump on it. And a crash course would be interesting. However, that sort of seems to be something that I would do personally after, my career is over, and I'm sort of like maybe in the twilight years or the second stage of what I'm doing. Burial's Untrue is pretty overrated. Kind of is, but that's my and your opinion, I guess. Do I think Mac DeMarco is going to come back with the energy of his earlier records? I mean, his earlier records didn't even have that much energy. I mean, I know his new album is pretty mellow, but come on now. Dude wasn't playing like funk rock. How will he develop as an artist? Also check out 100 Fish on Phone Sex YouTube channel. 'Tis a banger. I think that Mac, now that he's kind of gotten this sad, mellow album out of him, he might maybe return to making more slightly upbeat music. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm looking forward to it. I'll say I'm looking forward to it. How did I meet Austin? Austin and I mostly talk and mostly have just dealt with each other online. We have met a few times in person, but mostly, we just met online. He was just a big fan of the channel, big fan of the brand, and he just offered, his services to me. And now he just sort of, continues to work for the site, continues to work for the channel. But, I've met him when I did a tour date over in Boston. I met him when he came over to my place and, we were working on some stuff together. We're actually going to be hanging out again very soon because, we're trying to do like a bit of an annual hangout sort of thing. But, we both live on the East Coast, but, we haven't met a whole ton of times. But we do talk very often because we're always talking about, okay, what's got to get done today? Okay, cool. We'll do this at 8 o'clock. We'll do this at 5 o'clock. So, we're always in constant contact. But we met online, pretty much. You're right about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Honestly, Runaway sums it up best. Great, amazing song at the core, but way too drawn out and long. Also, Atrocity Exhibition is album of the decade. Oh man, I was listening to it again the other week, and it is still so fucking good. Hey, Mr. Mellon, I'm a big fan of Fleet Foxes, and I've been looking for similar artists to listen to. Any recommendations? Also, fave Brockhampton member. Right now, my favorite members are... I don't know. It's hard to pick now that I've seen them live. Like, my favorite members probably used to be Amir and Merlin, and now I think it's changed to like Amir and Kevin. But also, like, now that I've seen them live and I've sort of like listened to the, all three saturations more, I feel like I have much greater of like a respect for just how versatile Joba is. Like, he's just really a vocal chameleon in the group. And he just like contributes so many different vocal styles throughout the whole of their discography. He's really kind of like a triple threat in a way. But as far as like, Fleet Foxes type stuff, listen to Crosby, Stills, and Nash, listen to some Grateful Dead, listen to Simon and Garfunkel, go backwards, go back into the past, because any new bands today that are just ripping off of Fleet Foxes, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it. But, as far as like other pitch folky bands out there, or kind of freak folky bands, that kind of thing, maybe check out some Devendra Banhart, maybe check out some Vetiver. You most likely already know Father John Misty, so I'm not going to say that. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Do I listen to any K-pop? I mean, sort of, when it's suggested, but not a whole lot. If so, which artists? I've heard some BTS. I've heard a few of the other boy bands and stuff too. And they're all right. They're pretty good. 88 Rising suggested a good EP to me not too long ago. But I haven't kept up with too much of it. And I don't know if I'm going to review much K-pop this year. I mean, I guess we'll see. Have I ever heard of the Flying Nun label out of in New Zealand? Yes, I have. My dude Ashley, who booked me over in Australia a few times, turned me on to the record label, and there's actually a lot of cool fucking bands on that label. And some of them are really crazy too. Like there's got to be something out there in New Zealand in the water, making all those musicians out there fucking crazy. But I can't say that I have a favorite band or album on the label. I haven't listened to that much music on the label to be like, oh yeah, I've heard so many releases on the label. But do check out Flying Nun if you guys haven't already. There's a lot of cool punk music, a lot of cool post-punk music on there. And given that it's in New Zealand, it's like a little bit of an obscurity, it's like not something a lot of people know about. Like even with a lot of Australian music fans, it's not like super, super, super well known. And again, I do appreciate Ashley turning me on to that. Shout out to Ashley. Do I think heavy metal is out of ideas? I never hear any more original shit. I mean, heavy metal as far as like, are we talking about like Iron Maiden type shit? I don't think metal in general is out of fresh ideas. I think the new Portal record is really great, although that's a death metal album, not necessarily a heavy metal album. But metal in general, I don't think is out of ideas. I think metal is very much insular and doesn't really care whether or not it's relevant, doesn't really care what's going on outside of it. You just got to look for it. You know what I mean? I think there's still some cool stuff coming out. But I will say there's not like a brand new genre or style sort of taking the world or genre by storm as of right now. There are kind of bands and sort of flecks of cool new releases and sounds here and there, but there's not a whole new metal movement happening right now in the genre. I recently discovered the Divine Comedy. Their last album was nice. Discuss. I can't say. I can't really say. I have not discovered the Divine Comedy, so I can't even really comment. Are we all supposed to get in on this discussion? I don't know. All right, let me see. I'm excited about the new MGMT album. Yes, I fucking am. Every single so far has been like good to great. Yeah, I've not heard of the Divine Comedy before. I'm just gonna have to check them out. A short album about love. Hopefully it's short and hopefully it's good. But yeah, I am really excited for that record. That is going to be probably one of the first reviews I get busted out next week, so be looking out for that. Thoughts on IHY album by Eman Omari? That album has some Quali Chris and Terrence Martin features I think you'd like. Okay. Is that brand new? The name I know is familiar. It feels and sounds like something that I might have sort of run across last year, but it's not. I don't know if I really laid ears on it, but I'm really excited for that Quali Chris Jean Grey collab album this year. I think that's going to be great. Hey, you checked out AJJ's Back in the Jazz Coffin EP? I have not. Would love to get some quick thoughts. I didn't even try it out. I know that they put it out, but I didn't get around to listening to it. Also, check out John Mark McMillan. Very Springsteen, Neil Young inspired with baritone vocals. Ooh, I do love a good baritone. I love baritone singers. Comes off so sexy. And I do love some Bruce Springsteen vibes. So, what genre do you think has the most potential to create that next 10 out of 10 or modern classic or maybe a smaller genre that is ready to blow up. I don't know. I mean, I still think hip hop has a lot of gas left in the tank. You know, honestly, I think the next 10 out of 10 is probably going to be a rap record or something, you know, just because it's the zeitgeist right now. It feels like there's a lot of creativity and a lot of progression happening specifically in that genre right now. When will I collab with Kyle Kalinske? I don't know. You know, I don't even know what we would do. And yeah, I don't even know what we would do. So I'm just not really sure as of right now. I don't even know if he watches my stuff. I know he's aware of me, you know, but I don't even know if he really cares that much for what I do or anything. Your thoughts on the Czarface Doom collab that's just been announced? I'm psyched for it. I retweeted it on my Twitter account. I want to hear that shit. I guess I slightly worry about maybe the album sounding a little too samey, given just how much MF Doom influence Czarface has in their music. But I feel like they'll probably work together very well. You know, they're probably going to be on the same page. You know, but will they challenge each other to kind of go above and beyond? That's the question. Gave up playing music a few years ago to do a second degree, not in music, but can't stop thinking about it. Can good music be made if it doesn't just have 100% of your focus? Should musicians just be musicians? No, I think musicians can be a lot of different things. I think that's totally silly. And honestly, like, you can make a great album and make a great piece of music with music just kind of being your hobby. Honestly, you know, I talk to musicians in the music industry, and, you know, I say to them, so you're a musician, you're making records, music is your life, music is your profession, right? Like, what do you spend most of your time doing? What do you spend most of your time doing? You know, and I talk to these people and they say, yeah, you know, I make music for a living. Music is my living. However, most of the time I spend is spent on fucking touring, promotional stuff, logistic shit with the record, you know, networking shit, blah, 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 blah. Like, these people, in order to make music their professional livelihood, spend so much time not doing any fucking music at all. And that's because there's so much more to making a living out of music than, you know, just making the music. You know, unless you're sort of like, I guess probably a Taylor Swift type, and you have everybody kind of, you know, at your beck and call and ready to mix or write or really do anything for you that you ask them to do in order to make the album. You know, there are a lot of great amateur releases that I see online all the time. And, you know, it's a lot of worthwhile records out there made by hobbyists, you know, and a lot of albums out there made by artists who music is just kind of like their side thing. And they even manage to get records out, you know, and they hold down full-time jobs when they're sort of off cycling of whatever album they've just released. You know, I know like a lot of the dudes in Nails have like full-time jobs outside of like doing nails, and which is also the case for a lot of metal acts, a lot of metal artists. You know, because some people, sensibly so, don't want their art to kind of just wholly depend on whether or not it sells well. You know, some people just want to make their art and just have it just be what it is. And not worry about whether or not a certain song or a certain whatever is going to play over well, and whether or not it's going to sell well. Hey, Antoine, are there any trap albums that are more than just a flavor of the month type of music? I don't think I'll be listening to it again, although your thoughts on Death of Pablo, it's an MU project. They have a new single coming out at midnight tonight, if I believe correctly. Now, as far as trap albums that I think are more than just the flavor of the month, or at least I guess some of the more relevant or some of the better, I don't know, records in the genre. I mean, I do think If You're Reading This Is Too Late is one of Drake's better projects. I do like Trap Lord a lot. I do think Waka Flocka Flame's Flockavelli has to be observed and appreciated for its influence on the genre. T.I.'s trap music. What is it? Fucking Little Herb's Phaso Land. And I will also say Travis Scott's Rodeo. And I guess you would also probably have to give a nod to Future on DS2. Even though I don't really like DS2 that much, I think it's really one-dimensional. But I do think it is a kind of essential sound in the whole trap style. And you know, I'll leave it at that. You know, I think when the dust settles on trap, those will be some of the more notable releases in the sound and the genre. But I think mostly the genre is going to be remembered for its singles, shit like Don't Like, even though it's technically a drill song, but, it is sort of a subgenre. Oh, shit. I hate that. Too bad you didn't enjoy the last LCD Sound System album as much as I did. I loved it, by the way. Ever considered a Sound of Silver classic review? That would be fun. And I do love that album. I'll think about it. Melon, I am just a thick boy icon living. Please give a shout out to my teeth. Shout out to your teeth. The best teeth in the fucking game. Oh, those are you're the one with the best teeth in the game? Oh, I didn't know. I thought I had the best teeth in the game. Turns out I didn't. Well, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to go onto that site and get my teeth sort of, get those like plastic straighteners and get my teeth straightened a little bit. Maybe this spring, get some like, whitening trays, whiten my teeth up. And then once that happens, you'll be all fucking blown out of the water, boy. You'll be fucking blown out of the water. Because my teeth will have made a comeback. Meanwhile, your teeth are just shit. Since he's been in the news lately, what's your favorite Quincy Jones album? My favorite is The Dude, but mostly because I love that Rhymes Like Dimes sample. Thanks for representing melons in the YouTube community. Personally, like The Dude and later era Quincy Jones stuff, like honestly, I have not gotten into at all. Some of his earlier jazzier releases, I do think, are pretty great. I think are pretty good. But honestly, it's not something I've really kind of gone that deeply into. I appreciate and have appreciated him more as a composer and a producer for other artists. But I've not really gone that deep into his own discography, but I know he's a very talented musician, and, he's this person who speaks from a lot of experience. He speaks from a lot of ability. He is a producer who, has a lot of different talents and has a vast tool belt, which is why I think he's so talented at what he did. What do I think of Joy Division's Closer? And what is my favorite New Order album? It might be Power, Corruption and Lies. But I think Closer is a little, or Closer. I think it's a little overrated. I personally do. I don't think it's nearly as good as Unknown Pleasures. I really don't. I find it to be a little awkward personally, and that might have been because at the time the band was going through a lot. Ian was going through a lot. It may have in fact made the music suffer a little bit. Thoughts on the self-titled Deltron 3030 album? Is it worthy of a classic review? I think it is, but there are so many other records I would probably want to review before that one as far as a classic. But I do think it is a great album. It is a great album. Is Little Tybee on your radar? He is not. If so, what are your thoughts? He is literally not on my, or her, not on my radar at all. Little Tybee, or them. Apparently it's a them. They're a group. I thought it was like a rap name or some shit. I'll just have to check them out. But thank you very much for the suggestion. Have I heard of Ivan Ave? Sort of like a white open mic ego, really humble raps over what sounds like a Moog synthesizer. Makes you feel real nice. Thoughts if I listened to him? I have not listened to him, but that is a very sweet description that I'm sure all the open mic Eagle fans right now are taking extreme notice of. So I guess check out Ivan Ave and let me know if he's any good, guys. Let me know if he is in fact the white Mike Eagle with those humble bars that make you feel nice. Would I say Metro Boomin is already a legendary hip hop producer at 24? Also, Birds in the Trap is better than Rodeo? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it isn't. No. Do I think he's legendary? I don't know. I think he's very prolific. I think he is good at giving artists a very trendy sound that they want so badly. I don't know if I could really say anything else about it because a lot of his beats these days, I'm not going to say that about his earlier stuff. I do think a lot of his earlier beats that he was coming up on were very good. But a lot of his latest stuff just sounds very wash, rinse, and repeat to me. Just sounds very bland. While the beats on his latest project with Big Sean were definitely like one of the saving graces of the album, some of the beats on that thing were kind of run of the mill, But still, it does seem like he's doing a better job than a lot of his contemporaries at not only making music but also marketing himself effectively, which I think a lot of producers out there need to start doing, because unfortunately you have too many people out here who are just like, they just want to remain like anonymous and behind the scenes and so on and so forth. And as a result of that, I feel like it's really easy, especially if they're not represented by anybody, for a lot of these rappers and a lot of their managers when sort of negotiating these terms for whatever beat they want to use from this person, to just totally rip them the fuck off. Holy moly, you got to check out Crash Course in Science's old stuff. You won't regret it. Oh, I've already saved it. I've already saved it in my fucking search bar. Thank you very much. And I'm glad you liked the Aphex Twin review, bro. Hey, Anthony, I have 2 odd questions for you. Oh, no, they're odd questions. Oh, wait, I don't want to miss this one. And okay. Hey, Anthony, loved seeing you at the Brockhampton show, having fun. I know you love Simon and Garfunkel, my buddy, and I sampled Old Friends by them. If you get the time to search Cayman Old Friends, I think you'll dig. Okay, I'm searching that right now, and I will check it out later. I hope Cayman and Jordan Weasel, that better be it. I hope that's it. Hey, Anthony, I have 2 odd questions for you. Do I have any favorite multiplayer PC games? I mean, Unreal Tournament was pretty sick. I used to play quite a bit of Command & Conquer. That's a multiplayer PC game. Also, I've heard of Asian rapper Lotus Juice. You should check out his last record if you don't. I have not. I've not heard of Lotus Juice. And next question, have I ever listened to the instrumental hip-hop group Blue Sky Black Death? I have, although I can't say I've really cared for it, honestly. Let me punch in Lotus Juice there, because I do want to check that out later. What do I find in Gucci Mane? His lyrics are repetitive, his flows are basic, he literally raps straight quarter notes, boring voice, yet you don't see him as Dime a Dozen like G-Eazy or Bryson T. Personally, I think Gucci's discography is extremely hit or miss. Like, here's the thing. If I was forced to review every fucking Gucci project, like, he would have so many more negative friggin' reviews for me. But typically, like, my approach to Gucci at this point is just that if he has a super major release, and, honestly, his comeback record, I mean, I gave it a 6. It's like, I'm not that head over heels for it. And I don't think I've given any project he's released that I've reviewed like on the loved list or anything like that. I mean, Drop Top WAP kind of came close, but that's mostly because I think the Metro Boomin production was so good, and I think some of the hooks on there were really catchy. But Gucci Mane, some of his older stuff is pretty interesting, but I think immediately after that, he just got really mediocre, really repetitive, just like you said. And again, my approach to him currently is that if he comes through with a mediocre release, with a so-so release, with an average release, with another like wash, rinse, repeat sort of Gucci Mane album, I typically don't end up talking about it. I just sort of toss it to the side. I just ignore it because there's so many records like that. And listen, he has come out with some real like bullshit in the past, like those collaborative tapes. That one that he had with Chief Keef was garbage. That one that he had with, what was that white girl that said the N-word every 5 minutes? I can't even fucking remember her name. She was just like such a friggin', I don't know. She was such a flash in the pan. Maybe it'll pop up in the chat and I'll be reminded. I know she was like buddies with Cray Sean or whatever. Whatever her name was, he did a collab tape with her that was just like absolute fucking trash. I'm trying to say V Nasty. Yes. Thank you very much, Hunter. V fucking Nasty. Like that tape that he had with her was awful. So listen, Gucci Mane has his fair share of like bad albums. It's just that when it's bad, I typically don't end up covering it because his bad shit just doesn't even really get that many requests because it's just not that good. What do I think of the MGMT Me and Michael videos? I haven't even like been doing too much on the whole video side of that whole thing because I just don't want to take in too much before I hear the whole album. I just want to be surprised. One of the most absurdly brilliant and hilarious music videos I've seen in a while. If you're telling me it's really good, I'll try to set aside some time to watch it. I'm typically not too crazy about the whole music video scene. I'm more of an audio guy, but If you're telling me it's super absurd and crazy, I'll take a minute. $10, Ethan, thank you very much. We have 20 minutes left. What I'm going to do is, I think I'll do super chats for 5 more minutes. Then honestly, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to get a drink. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get all the super chats that I missed. Okay, so I'm sorry to anybody who I missed, but I'm going to go down there. I'm going to get the ones I missed, but I got to get a drink first because I'm fucking dying over here. I'm dying. Since I like Petter new model, I checked out Ghost, makes similar music on the same label. I have, but I can't recall what the music even sounded like. Somebody did suggest it to me. Didn't he have like the picture with like the skull and the hand coming down on it? I'm trying to remember. Come on, computer. Thank you. I'll make sure to revisit that. No, maybe I was wrong on that. I can't quite remember. Maybe having a brain fart over here. Apparently. What do I think of the band Pacoda? I can't really say. I'm not really familiar with the group. But thank you very much, Evil Morty Smith. Evil Morty Smith. Hey Antoine, pretty please, can you say Mode Atlanta brings the licky boom boom? It would mean a lot. Thank you, my friend Opportunity. Yo, Antoine, just finished watching your No Jumper interview. How was hanging out with Adam and going to see that PNB show? Did you see J. Cole stop by his store the other day? I saw J. Cole stop by. That was cool. The PNB show was all right. I mean, PNB was just okay. A lot of the rappers that came on before him were very entertaining, though. And Adam was chill. His crew was cool. They're just like very chill people. They just hang around. They play what? They play Kendama. If I'm saying that correctly, they're all just like super fucking chill. There's not really anything else you could say. A lot of them are just like really perceptive and on the ball though, and just very good tastemakers, and they know music and, for the most part they have very good taste and they're very good at networking. I'll say that much too. Me, I'm not like, I could never do what Adam does, nor would I want to, because I'm just like I'm not really like an elbow rubber. You know what I mean? I'm really not. I'm not like a shoulder, elbow rubber, that type of thing. That's really just not me. And not to say that I don't like going out and being social and that sort of thing. I love coming out to shows. I love coming out to concerts. I love meeting you guys and that sort of thing. But, just like trying to hang out with a bunch of industry types and meeting musicians and that sort of thing, and I love musicians, but I wouldn't want meeting them to, and talking to them all the time to be my job. You know what I mean? I do love doing interviews here and there and that sort of thing, but it's not like my forte. It's not my passion. But Adam's very good at it, and he saw something in the SoundCloud scene that I think a lot of other people in the music journalism industry were either just not aware of, or they were just ignoring, hoping it would go away, or they just didn't see anything in it. And now as a result of being perceptive about that and, giving it the platform that he did, he's one of the biggest tastemakers out there at the moment. So, I mean, you can't fault the dude for seeing an opening and grinding his way to prominence. Please listen to Epic High, Dean, FX, and Shiny. Thanks. I know people have suggested FX to me before. And I don't even recall what the music even sounds like. But thank you very much. I will save that in my pocket and I'll get back to it. I'm going to take a few more super chats. Please have whatever super chats you're sending in, have these be the last ones. Like I said, I'm going to get a drink and I'm going to come back and I'm going to get to all the ones that I missed. I think you should play Shadow of the Colossus. It'd be a perfectly designed game, and it's a perfectly designed game. It has one of the best soundtracks in any video game ever. It sounds interesting. Although, again, currently I am on like a video game hiatus, and all because I'm trying to play more bass. I'm trying to play more bass, baby. I'm trying to play more fucking bass. Because when it comes to video games, I have no self-control. I just sink hours into them, which is why there was a point in my life where I said, okay, I'm never playing video games ever. And that was like, like after college, and, I had to grind and get the whole Tnd thing happening. And, I maybe played a few games here and there until I beat them. But outside of that, I never really played that many video games. And then I kind of got back into it when I got addicted to Smash Brothers 4. But whatever. A Lemon, you got a chance to check out Silent Strike's work? I don't know. I have not checked out Silent Strike, so I cannot say. I wasn't even aware of it to begin with to have a chance to check it out. So I will just pop it in my search bar and we'll see. The fact that Brian Eno helped freaking Coldplay to make a great album, Viva La Vida, shows that he is the best producer outside of hip-hop. Who are some of your favorite producers outside of hip-hop? Probably Steve Albini. Definitely. I mean, you could say he's a hip-hop producer, but he also produces other genres too. I mean, Rick Rubin. Other producers who I think are amazing, who I'm trying to remember. Oh, what the hell is his name? He produced I got to look it up now. I gotta look it up. Oh, yeah. Gotta look it up. Blake Mills. Very good producer. He fucking killed it on that new friggin' Perfume Genius album. Love that album. But yeah, those are some producers that I really like and have a lot of respect for. Hey, Melon, do I have any speaking engagements in NY and CT area in the near future? I have one coming up at Connecticut College toward the end of this month. I put up a poster on my Twitter account for it. You just need to scroll down and look for it. It's on February 23rd. Look it up. Look for it. Have I ever heard the Jacob Collier track Hideaway? I have not. I'm not really a big fan of Jacob's stuff, to be honest. Thoughts on the Den and Hip Hop video where they touched on the whole Fader controversy. Mike dropped a pure comedy review. If you're not aware, also updated thoughts on the Vaporwave. Goat Vaporwave albums. Updated thoughts on Vaporwave is that the genre is sort of continuing to expand and diversify. Although it does seem like there are some artists and records out there that I'm seeing on Bandcamp lately that are almost like getting back in touch with kind of the Macintosh Plus thing, sort of aesthetic, which, I think it's funny that it's kind of like circled back around again in a lot of ways. I didn't know, well, I knew Mike did a pure comedy review, although from what I saw online, I don't think he liked the album very much. And I mean, I guess I would have to see why it is he doesn't care for the record. But honestly, I mean, since I reviewed that album positively and since I gave it my album of the year, I've seen no shortage of critiques lobbed at that album. And honestly, I mean, I still love it. I still think it's really good. But I acknowledge simultaneously, it's not an album for everybody. Like, it's not a mood, a tone, a message, a style that a lot of people are going to want to hear. It's not an album for everybody. As far as the video that they dropped, personally, I found the video very confusing. It seemed like they spent a majority of the video arguing about why they should make the video, and whether or not have you talked to Fantano? Have you talked to Fantano? Which was weird because I know a bunch of them have my phone number. It was just a really odd conversation, and I didn't quite get it. I mean, they came to some sort of like vague, I guess, conclusions toward the end of the video that were not really put as strongly as one might want, given how long they sort of talked to get to that point. But it was one of their oddest and most meta conversations ever, because again, it sort of seemed like they were spending more time talking about what the video was going to be, what was it going to be about, why they were making the video, than actually talking about the topic at hand, I guess. Look at some more Zion T, please, my large fleshy fruit. Zion T, I'm not even familiar with Zion T. Do I know Jonathan Colton? Thing A Weeks had a great arrangements and smart lyrics, for one song every week. The newer Solid State was a banging record. I'm not even familiar with Jonathan, so I'll just have to look Jonathan up. But yeah, I'm super unfamiliar with Jonathan's work. Yeah, I'm not even familiar with this guy at all, and his album cover game is fucking top notch. What the fuck is this guy doing on his album covers? Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Very interesting. Very interesting. No, I'll try to check him out. Let me see. Okay, hopefully this is the last couple. All right. Have I heard of Xyloris White, featuring Jim White of the Dirty Three? Okay. If so, thoughts? I haven't, unfortunately. Hawkwind or Wire, worst to best. Wire, worst to best would be pretty fun. Although they have a lot of late era stuff that's just okay. And here's one more we're going to do. What do I think about the Wonder Years new single that dropped today? I haven't even heard it. What kind of expectations do I have for their upcoming album? Personally, I've never really cared for Wonder Years, so I'm not even really sure. But I haven't even heard the new single, so I cannot say. The Wonder Years and a lot of that newer emo stuff, it doesn't do too much for me. Of course, there are bands here and there that do grab my attention. I do think are very good. Adventures, Remo Drive, a lot of groups on the more screamo side of things, freaking Touche Amore and La Dispute, Loma Prieta. But I can't really say I'm that much into Wonder Years. And last one, Baby Clarence Clarity showed me the light. My large fleshy fruit, he's amazing. Thank you very much. Clarence Clarity is amazing. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to go downstairs and get a drink. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a bunch of super chats that I missed. Again, I'm sorry to anybody whose super chats I might have missed. It was not my intention to miss anybody's super chat or anything like that. However, they do kind of speed by and it is sort of a pain in the butt. But, all right, so let me head down and get that shit to drink because my throat is fucking dying and I will not be able to clinch these super chats if I don't have a nice frosty drink in front of me. So give me a second and I will come back and we'll get these super chats I missed out of the way. Okay? All right, you guys are the best. Love you. Just give me a second. Give me a minute. If anybody comes in here saying some weird shit and they don't know what the fuck's going on, just tell them in the comments. Tell them in the chat what's up. Tell them what the fuck is up. All right, I'll be right back. Gonna go get a drink. Okay. I'm back. I'm back, baby. Two frosty jars of water. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me put that down. Let me put this down. Put this down over here. Okay. All right, there we go. Feeling quenched. Feeling energized. Feeling fucking quenched. Review water. Frosty. Melons. He's drinking vodka. I might be. I might be drinking vodka and you wouldn't even know. Fucking funky fresh. Sorry, I was just reading the chat there. All right, let me get to the super chats I missed. Let me blow through these. I have a question for you. I'm positive that you heard that you haven't heard of a small pop rock band that just released a nice, relaxing EP. Name is Small Crush, and essentially bubblegum pop of rock music. I have not heard of that band. Everybody will have to check that band out and tell me what's up. From one thick-ass boy to another, can I get a shout-out for Berkeley, California? Shout-out to Berkeley. All right. If you had to give Nick Drake's albums hot take ratings, what would they be? Ugh. I cannot right now. I cannot. But obviously Pink Moon would get the highest rating. I've been Chelsea. But thank you very much. Economic. I've been enjoying Chelsea Wolfe's music recently. Are there any metal artists you recommend that combine Joanna Newsom-esque vocals and songwriting with Electric Wizard aesthetic? Honestly, not that I know of. Although, there's a sludge metal band off the top of my head, and it might pop up in the chat after I describe them, that, they're kind of a sludgy metal band. And they have, I know they have a female vocalist, and they work some strings into their sound as well. And it's not this band, but I could also recommend to you like Kylesa. They're really good. They have some good records. But I can't, I don't know if anybody's, somebody said Coldplay. Is it Coldplay? No, it's not Coldplay. But I can't remember the name of that band. I cannot remember the name of that band. I'm an idiot. And it's not Kylesa. Stop saying that. And it's not System of a Down. But, God. If it comes to me, I'll say it. Do I think Brockhampton has already peaked with the Saturation trilogy, or do you think we've yet to see what they are truly capable of? I think the decider of that will be how good Team Effort is. If Team Effort is bad, then I'll say yes. If Team Effort is amazing, I will actually probably say that Brockhampton still has more to offer even beyond Saturation and Team Effort. And I actually think they do. I think that there's as of right now, obviously Team Effort will be the decider. But given just how many members there are in the group and how well they seem to be working together already, and how much they seem to gel together creatively, I think they're capable of a lot. 2 questions. Have I checked out any of Paul Motian's music? I have not. I recommend it. Also, Free Jazz Starter Pack. Maybe. There's potential for that. But right now I've written up a Southern hip hop starter pack that I got to do. And then after that I might do like an ambient starter pack. Quick thoughts on the core genre in metal, deathcore, metalcore. Metalcore is usually pretty solid. Obviously it's gotten a little repetitive over the years. Deathcore I'm not as into, but there's some good cores out there. Pirate core. No, there really is pirate core though, but it's not that good. Thoughts on the Mass of the Fermenting Dregs? Their self-title is pretty good. What the fuck name is that? That better be the most hardcore fucking gore grind shit I've ever heard in my life. No, it doesn't look like it is, but I'm vaguely intrigued. Or sort of intrigued. Hey, Anthony, love your vids. Thoughts on anything coming out on Orange Milk Records? They do come out with some good stuff. Let me remind myself, too. They clearly have Oh, Austin just reminded me. The metal band I'm thinking about is Sub Rosa. They're very good. They have some very good stuff. Thank you, Austin. Thank you for watching me there with that text. Just fucking texted my ass. He says, but I doubt you'll see this. No, I saw it. But yeah, the band I was thinking of was in fact Sub Rosa. Thank you very much, dude. He's watching my ass. He's watching it. But Orange Milk does have some very good stuff. They obviously have some cool sort of connections to the vaporwave and electronic, sort of experimental electronic music scene, but I feel like they don't fall into the stereotypes of that stuff. And I probably should make more of an effort to cover their stuff in 2018. Hey, Anthony, love your vids. No, I got that. No, I got the Jonathan Colton. When will you do another podcast with Ethan Klein? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to say I've done one with him. I did do that one with him back in the day before H3 really, really blew up. Well, when will I do another with him? I don't know. I really have no idea. What are your thoughts on Decca? He's a unique hip hop artist with incredible hand-drawn music videos. Whoa. Does he draw them? Like, are all of his music videos hand-drawn? But I've not heard of Decca. I've not heard of Decca. I'll have to take that recommendation and check it out. Flossany Teeth, Tano, love all you do, Melon. Can't wait for Cal's next mixtape. Have I ever listened to Hungry Lights? I highly recommend you do. I have not. I can't even say I have. I'm sorry about that. Let me see. Has your opinion on the new Gorillaz album changed? No, I still do not really care for it. Also, thanks for getting me into KGATLW. You're welcome. I can't say what that is. Let's see. Got that. What do you think of Max Bemis? I can't say. And also, have I heard of any Los Campesinos? Yes, I have. I actually think their last album was one of their better ones in a while. Though it was still sort of run-of-the-mill for them. You know, I do think it was one of their better ones in a while. I've gotten super into The Satanist. What other perhaps modern metal albums would I recommend that are as well written and dynamic? I don't know. Maybe check out Ghost. Maybe check out the new Tribulation album too, or just kind of Tribulation in general. Also, I would say Leviathan. You know, maybe check out some Leviathan. I think you would appreciate all that. Who would win, Joe Budden versus Joe Biden? Joe Budden, because Joe Biden has personal space issues. Nav versus Nas. Nas would win because Nas is a fucking cold-blooded dude. Nav doesn't stand a chance. A$AP Rocky versus A$AP Rock. You know, A$AP Rock, I think is he's a lover. He's not a fighter. So, if we're talking fisticuffs, not that I think A$AP Rocky would probably be good in a fight, but it might be A$AP Rocky. But if we're talking rap ability, it's probably going to be Rock. Kodak Black versus Bodak Yellow. Obviously Bodak Yellow, if we're talking about in sheer numbers and relevance. DJ Khaled versus Khaled. I personally would have to go Khaled because and YBN Namir versus Tay-K. I'm gonna have to go YBN. Have you ever listened to the instrumental hip hop group? Yes, I have. Got that one. I've been listening to a lot of Daniel Caesar and Frank Ocean recently. Thoughts on Pink Matter as the best ever Frank Ocean song? I don't know. I mean, me personally, I kind of love Solo. That's personally my favorite. I don't personally agree, but I'm glad that you love it. And I'm glad it's your favorite song. Got that. Thank you very much, Samlock. Can I please say Mode Atlanta? No, I did that one. Mode Atlanta, bring the licky boom boom. I did say that. I got that one. We are all sad about That Is the Plan. Do I ever plan on making any kind of content, making that kind of content again? I truly miss it. I don't know right now. I don't know. Because I make that content to make a living, and YouTube does not make it easy to make a living doing it. And I do not want to fucking raise money for fucking shit posts because that does not feel right to me. And again, there are still things on that front that I am cleaning up. Which, again, if you guys watch me on social media and watch my subreddit, you know, there are developments coming out. Do I think a Tool album will actually be released this year? I mean, that's the talk around the water cooler, if it is to be trusted. I mean, I haven't really, you know, there's always been fans talking about like, oh, will we get a new Tool album this year? But it seems like we've actually been getting confirmation from the band members that like new music is actually being recorded. So, you know, hopefully it ends up coming out sooner rather than later. You know, could end up coming out in 2019, but hopefully it's sooner. Thoughts on John Mayer? I find him boring. By the way, I have that Floss T2. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Where do you see Joji in the next 3 years? Honestly, I'm very surprised and impressed with how he's really transitioned into the whole music thing. And good for him, you know, and I don't see him abandoning that anytime soon, honestly, because, you know, I've had conversations with him personally and he's just so, you know, over the whole YouTube thing. And it sort of seems like he's doing so well with the music side of things. He's probably not going to be leaving the music realm anytime soon. So good for him. I hear that you and your band have sold your guitars and bought turntables. That is, in fact, not true. Me and my band have sold our turntables and bought guitars. Thank you very much. You dum-dum, you dumbo, you dummy, pay attention. What is the coolest thing happening in terms of underground music scenes right now? I don't really know. You know, I mean, one of the craziest, most poppin' things is the whole SoundCloud rap thing. But honestly, like, I think the well is sort of starting to run dry a little bit, you know, unless some new sounds and newer ideas and newer artists sort of come through. But as of right now, I think that's kind of what is ruling the roost. Yeah, I got that one. Got it. John Mayer's boring. Got it. Oh, yep. Oh, did I hear this one? Hello, man. What does your work/sleep schedule look like? Also, have you heard of DPR Live? If so, what do you think? I've not heard of DPR Live. My work/sleep schedule is shit. I work all the time and I barely ever sleep. However, I'm trying to get better at that this year. I am trying to get better at that this year. I really am. How come your review scores are based on personal enjoyment, but your worst to best lists are supposed to be more objective? Why the difference? I don't know, because I feel like I want, because I see my personal taste as being very much based on context, and I may feel entirely different about particular albums maybe 5 or 10 years down the road, you know what I mean? Or maybe even 20 years down the road. And I want to be able to look back on my lists of worst to best and say, yeah, you know, that was a solid list, you know, probably still because a lot of the contextual elements that I use to sort of decide what is and what is not a more significant album in artist's discography, you know, are probably a little bit more evergreen, you know what I mean? Because I'm kind of taking that into account. To me, that's why, you know, because I try to sort of put, you know, I try to think more long-term as far as reception when it comes to doing lists and stuff. Whereas when it's just a review, when it's just a short-term thing, all that really matters to me is sort of how I feel and what my opinion is right then and there. You know what I mean? Because, and I guess there's really no because beyond that. It's just a preference. You know, that's why. That's sort of my mental, I guess, sort of process coming to those decisions. Have I noticed all the That Is the Plan re-uploads and the amount of views that they get? Any way that you'd bring that content back? Love ya. Yes, I have noticed a lot of the re-uploads, and I think it's cool. You know, I'm actually pretty cool with it, pretty happy about it. You know, it's cool that people are passionate about it. I think it's very good content. I'm very happy with the content that I made on the channel. I'm not very happy with the way YouTube treats the content and the way YouTube makes it impossible for, not only for me to make money off of the content, but when I'm not making money off of the content, they don't recommend the fucking videos in the algorithm and in the search bar. So then my viewership on all the videos just goes in the fucking toilet. And it's less likely that when I put a video up, it's going to end up in your fucking subscription box. So if I do end up bringing the content back, it's probably going to be on a platform that's not YouTube. So, and when and if that happens, I will make an announcement about it. Let me see. How can you tell if a song is mixed like shit if certain pieces of instrumentation sound muddy or tinny or crappy or are not really audible at all because other things are mixed too loudly or EQ'd badly? Is it dependent on the genre and what has the worst mixed engineered song you've ever listened to? I mean, I guess it depends on the genre in the sense that, like, let's say the guitars on a folk rock album probably have to sound and be mixed differently than the guitars on a black metal album, because you're talking about two entirely different styles of music, two entirely different sounds. So, I mean, I guess in a way it is dependent on the genre, but honestly, a great producer should be able to kind of take the reins no matter what the genre, the sound, the style is that the artist is going for. So, but I guess those are some of my ideas of what makes for bad mixing. Fantano, Animal Collective worst to best. I'm not that into the idea as of right now. Also, give my new album Massive out now. Listen, 1992 melt.bandcamp.com. A review or a not good. Thanks. Got that one. Got that one. Got that one. Got that one too. You missed my last super chat. I'm sorry. Alice in Chains are just wrapped up on their new album. Thoughts on them? Alice in Chains is pretty good. Dirt is great. And they're wrapped up on a new album. I mean, that's could be okay. Any plans on doing a Swan's worst to best? I'm almost done with the Bjork one. Let me I don't know. Let me think about it, because honestly, the next few worst to best I want to be of bands with smaller discographies. Smaller ones. honestly. They have such a vast discography, yeah, so on and so forth. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Pink Floyd worst to best, probably not. It would take so long. It would take a million fucking years. How many hours per day do I work and sleep? I work all the time. I sleep so little. But I try to relax as much as I can on the weekends, But hey, you know what? It's all about making that content that you guys want to see. It's all about making that money that I want to fucking make. That's my goal. That's what I'm doing. Trying to provide that green. And I'm working at it. That's my goal. I sent this to you earlier. Yeah, okay, I saw that. Best goddamn teeth in the game. Pretty sure I have the best goddamn teeth in the game. What do you think? Who do you think? Wait, I'm pretty sure I have the best goddamn teeth in the game. Who do you think does? Who has? Listen. It's mostly a meme. My teeth are not really that good, but I'm trying to think of who had some good teeth lately that really impressed me. Whose teeth really impressed me? I'm trying. I had it, but then I lost it. I really did. I lost it. No pay, no say. Not so egalitarian, my friend. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I don't know what you're saying. But okay. No pay, no say. Not so egalitarian, my friend. I don't know what you're saying. Thoughts on Arlo Guthrie? Maybe I would know what you're saying if you said it better. You use better words. Thoughts on Arlo Guthrie? He's funny, He's cute. And do you like Megadeth or Metallica better? I like Metallica better. Megadeth, they have some good records, but I like Metallica better, even though they have so many crappy albums. But Megadeth has some shitty albums too, now that I think about it. But I guess Megadeth's fails over the years have not been quite as epic as Metallica's, but hey, you got to give it to Metallica for daring to dream. Let me see. Got that. Got that. Melon, why the fuck haven't you given Chief Keef the respect he deserves? Put some goddamn respect on Back from the Dead. Back from the Dead is decent. You know, it's all right. But I mean, I have put the respect that Chief Keef deserves on Chief Keef. He comes out with decent singles, not so good albums and mixtapes. And that's just kind of the truth. You know, like he's got some good single tracks, but the dude is not that interesting in the long run. He's a sprinter. He's a sprinter. He's not a long distance runner. He's not a long distance runner. He's a sprinter. He comes out with good tracks, good bangers, or at least he used to. His stuff right now is very underwhelming. Although that is a good point, you know, if you are going to talk about trap releases, though, you probably should mention Back from the Dead, because it is the most significant release in the whole drill scene. Although I will say that Phasoland is probably the best, you know, but still, though, Back from the Dead is probably more relevant. Let me see. Got that one. Music Has a Right to Children next Classics Week. I don't know. Pepper or Sublime? Sublime. Kendrick is better than Kanye. Thoughts? Please describe in detail, because even though Kanye has more albums out and put more time on the mic, I feel like Kenny is catching up. I do feel like Kenny is catching up. But still, that being said, I mean, it's the answer is pretty much right there. Kendrick is catching up because Kanye is ahead. I still think Kanye is more of an essential artist than Kendrick is at the moment. But Kendrick certainly has that potential, and I think isn't going anywhere anytime soon, nor is his talent. Whose new album is going to be more disappointing, Travis or Rocky's? Probably Rocky's. Travis's has the potential to be very good. Rocky's, I think, is probably going to be very not good. Thank you very much for liking the Black Mirror video. Could I do one for Westworld? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Got that one. What do I expect from the new Earl album? I'm expecting good things. I'm hoping it's a little better assembled than his last record, though, but I don't know. I'm expecting good things. And have I heard his unofficial releases since the last record? I have not. Have they got you excited for anything? Keep going. Got it. Give me your thoughts on the Strokes front bottoms. Cass, you can't just like throw a bunch of bands at me and just be like, give me your thoughts on all these bands, especially since I reviewed a lot of this stuff. Like you can just literally look at my reviews. Although I don't know who Half Noise is. Caspian, I've always thought, has been a boring post-rock band. The front bottoms are not putting out good music anymore, in my opinion. But I've reviewed quite a bit of this stuff. You got to look at my reviews, bro. Yo, love the channel. Just wondering how I felt about the Foreign Beggars Monster Florence Project 48. Haven't even heard it. I've recently been binging pretty hard. I've not heard it. I've not heard it, so I cannot comment. Let me see. Don't really have a question. Yeah, I got that one. I recently watched your headphone video, AKG 240 costs, older Apple headphones. Has your headphone ear audio set up since then? I've picked up some more new cost headphones that I enjoy, but I still rock the AKGs every once in a while. I still listen to the Koss Porta Pros because they're just easy knock around headphones and stuff. And if they get, a little beat up or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. My headphone preferences have not really changed too much, though. The newer Koss headphones that I use, which maybe I'll do like a little bit of a video update on. They have a little bit more clarity than the AKGs, the pair that I'm currently using. But yeah. Have you ever heard of the rapper Ritz? I have. I think he's decent. He's got chops, but he's never really made a song that I loved. You know what I mean? He's got technical ability, but I just don't find him that interesting. Got that one. What do I think about XXX Tentacion saying he's better than Tupac? I think it's stupid. It's really stupid. I think that's really all you can say. Holy Mountain or Dope Smoker? Ooh, I'm going to say Dope Smoker. Wait, did I miss this one? Anna Birch's latest album, Quit the Curse, a listen. Oh, yeah, I did get that one. Got that one. Where did I get those slick-ass sunglasses? I got them from Zenny. Send me a check, Zenny. What the fuck, Zenny? Where's the check? Send the check in the mail, Zenny. While you're over there, buy me an extra pair. Buy me a spare pair. Buy me a spare. Hey, Anthony, a new Go-Go Penguin album released today. I'm not much into jazz, but I think these guys are really worth checking out. Okay. I'll make it my first jazz check out of 2018. I haven't even checked out any jazz yet so far this year, so I'll check that out. Thank you very much for the recommendation. Got it. Got it. Thoughts on Palm? I actually saw their show with Deerhoof recently. I thought they were really good live. On record, they didn't blow me away that much, but in person, I thought they were really good. There were definitely elements of Deerhoof and Women and the Velvet Underground and Animal Collective, I would say, in their music too. I wouldn't say they blew Deerhoof away. I mean, maybe Deerhoof was having an off night. Oh, you saw me at the show with Deerhoof, and you think they blew Deerhoof away? No way! That was one of the best Deerhoof sets I've seen in fucking a long time. I mean, it was a little more deconstructed than their sets usually are. Like, they had like a lot of weird, totally noisy, like disconnected, jammy moments throughout the set. But honestly, like, I've seen Deerhoof a bunch of times, and that was honestly one of my favorite sets I've seen them play. I think I got that one. I kind of said it earlier. Thoughts on MAI's first album? I own it. I love it. It genuinely confuses me that it's not seen as an all-time classic. Yeah, I guess that is kind of confusing. I mean, her first two records are amazing. I don't really know if I could say much more than that. I own both of them on CD. I think they're great. Could I go back in time and see one live performance? What show would I pick? What show would I see? I don't know. I might see like Alice Cooper in his prime. That would probably be really fun. You know, he used to put on a hell of a show. I'd probably maybe go see Nirvana. You know, that'd be great. Thoughts on Roger Waters' genius in your eyes? He's great. You know, I mean, I guess you could say he's a genius. You know, I mean, he's had so many great albums over the years. You know, with Pink Floyd, of course, but you know, he's a good songwriter, good lyricist, good bassist. You know, I don't have anything against Roger. I think he's great. He made some music that was very important to me when I was younger. What is your favorite Olympic opening ceremony? I don't have one. I really don't. What up, Melly? What do I think of your boy Jordan Peterson? He's okay. He's very overrated. I don't think he's that interesting. You know, I find him quite boring. You know, I don't think he's that interesting of a thinker. You know, I mean, it's like I get that you don't want the government to force you to call anybody whatever you don't want to call them. I mean, I get that. I don't think that sort of thing should necessarily be sort of mandated and people need to go to fucking jail over that shit. However, you know, that doesn't make you a hero. You know, it doesn't make you a great thinker. It doesn't make you a revolutionary. It doesn't make you a freedom fighter. You know, it doesn't make you an interesting philosophical figure or mind. I just find him very boorish and, or I guess rather I want to say boring, and just very uninteresting. You know, I don't find his ideas to be that sharp. Let me see. Have I seen I've seen the teaser. What do I think about Famous Dex and other artists like himself calling themselves entertainers and not rappers? Honestly, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. What do I hope that Joji will add to his music in the upcoming projects? I mean, I guess beats that are just a little bit more dynamic and Just, work on his singing chops a little bit. Have I heard any of the new releases from Crapface? No, I can't say I have. And am I going to SCSU? SCSU. South by Southwest? No, not this year. I do like a lot of old Ministry stuff, but I'm not so sure if I'm going to like the upcoming record. I got that one. Best albums from 2000 to 2009, especially punk stuff. I honestly cannot say off the top of my head. But I actually am looking forward to, once 2019 is over, doing a video about the best albums of the decade, because I will have sort of been doing this throughout the whole past decade, so that's going to be pretty exciting. Doing a fucking decade roundup, I'm going to love doing that. I got that. Do I have a favorite tattoo? Also, do I plan on getting more? I don't know if I have a favorite tattoo, and I'll probably get more, but I don't really have any plans, hardcore plans right now to do that. But I don't really talk too much about my tattoos. Have I ever been a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm? Yes, I've been actually trying to binge the show in reverse. And I've gotten all the way back to the 4th season, and it's really funny. It's really fucking amazing. Some of my favorite books, pretty much anything by Kurt Vonnegut. You should also check out Ocean's 8 Alaska Hikari, some of the best technical metal instrumentation infused with classical Japanese instruments. Let's see. Thank you, Frout. Got it. Love your reviews, but always get triggered about your Dance Gavin Dance review. Give them another chance. Review Mothership, please. No, I really do not care for their stuff at all. Have you ever listened to Thank You, Scientist? I have not. Is Kendrick Lamar the GOAT? I don't know about that yet. It's still too early to tell. Got that. Got that. Please give shout out to Merzad. What up, Merzad? Oh, I love you and have a good day. Thank you, Fred Lee. Do I regard UK grime as a subgenre of hip-hop? If I say yes, that will be me giving my authentic feelings. If I say that, though, all the grime fans from the UK are going to get up my ass, so I'm going to say no. Do you ever listen to stuff and be like, wow, why the fuck did I ever like this song? And thoughts on a band called Whores? Whores is okay. Wow, why the fuck did I ever like this song? Yeah, I guess it's happened to me a few times. But mostly with like all the bad nu metal music I used to listen to in fucking high school. Thoughts on Palm? Yeah, I said that earlier. What's your opinion on Paramore's older stuff like Riot? I don't care for it, honestly. You've shared a little bit about your experience performing music. How many projects have I been in? Not very many. How many hours do I practice a day? I'm trying to practice more and more. That's kind of been one of my New Year's resolutions, to just play more. Am I familiar with a crust punk band Days and Days? No, I'm not. I'm going to review the new Tribulation for sure. I know you like In Rainbows, but what do I think of the specific track Reckoner? I think it's very good. Have I heard of the band Hurt? What are my thoughts on them? I have not. Yasiv Genking, what are your favorite film soundtracks? I've talked about that earlier. You might have seen that question. If not, rewatch the recast, the rebroadcast. It's going to be on the Fantano channel. And, I talked about some soundtracks or soundtrack composers that I really like. I've been really getting into bossa nova music lately. Stan Getz especially, not sure if I'm into it or not. Have any suggestions? I do not. I'm not really that well versed in it. Thoughts on the new Ali and AJ EP? I have not heard it. I have no idea what the heck that is. I'm going to have to look it up. Hey, Melon, you're a thick gym boy like myself, and lately I've really enjoyed listening to instrumental hip-hop. Trip-hop in the gym lets me take myself away and just vibe out. Yeah, I guess you could. I personally like more aggressive music in the gym, though. Excited for the new Young Fathers album? I am. How do I rank their 4 current projects? I'd probably put the 2, like Tape 1 and Tape 2 collectively at the top, and then White Men Are Black Men underneath that, then their debut album underneath that, or maybe that. Yeah, and then Dead I would put last. Dead is my least favorite, but yeah, those are my thoughts there. Got that. Got it. What's a genre I think will happen in the future that has not been done before? Cyber ska. Oh wait, a sound subgenre in hip hop that you think will happen in the future that has not had been done before. Ska hop, ska rap. Thoughts on the band Hum? I think I did that one. I don't really have anything to say on them. Thoughts on Smashing Pumpkins' album Adore? It's not their best. You know, I prefer Melancholy. I prefer Siamese, but I think it's good. You know, I think it's their darkest album in a lot of ways, and that it does have that appeal for me. Super chat sucks. What are your thoughts on Pink Floyd? Favorite album? Also, reason for being vegan. Pink Floyd favorites are probably, Wall, Animals, Piper. Wish You Were Here. But as far as reasons for being vegan, I mean, it's pretty both much, health and ethical reasons together. Those are pretty much my reasons, which, I mean, you've probably read and heard such reasons a million times before. Do you think Flower Boy should have won Best Rap Album over Damn? I do prefer it, but I'm glad Damn won because Kendrick did deserve a Grammy. Can I speak on the influence Space Ghost, Perp, and Raider Clan had on the current trap soundscape? Can Perp make a comeback? Love you. I don't think Perp can make a comeback. I think his time in the limelight is pretty much over. I think he had a sound, but I don't think he was that consistent. Honestly, because when he had that debut album drop, it was not that interesting of a listen. But that's not to say that he didn't influence, things greatly, because, even A$AP Rocky, he had a massive influence on. But still though, I don't think, we're probably going to hear from Space Ghost Perp, again, anytime soon. Let me see. I got that one. Okay, wait. No, I got that one. Have Heart is just okay. Got it. Mars Volta, worst to best, probably not, but they are a good band. And I think that's it. Yeah, it is. That's at least that looks like. I can't go up anymore, so that must be the last one. Thoughts on Suicide Boys? I mean, they're pretty good. But they're just kind of a little one-dimensional. And Sheepdog's review, I have not heard it. Favorite Queens of the Stone Age, probably rated R or like Clockwork. Thank you very much, Joseph, for the donation there. And that has been this new live stream, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you to everybody who donated, and hopefully I got to every super chat. I didn't miss anything, and everybody whose super chat I missed stuck around to sort of see me answer their shit. You're the best. I love you. And I will see you guys in the next one, probably a week from now. What are people saying? Oh, this person sent in $50. Who the hell is this? Anthony, I wanted to say, love the content almost as much as I do your shaven head. Do you think alt-rock's sound and style will ever become popular as it once was? Probably not. I think it had its time in the sun, and now that's just kind of over and done with. it just kind of is what it is. I don't think it's going to make a comeback or anything like that. However, that's not to say that rock music will never sort of be at prominence again. But I think if it ever is, it's going to take on a different sound than alternative rock. Mine disappeared. Have you heard of and have any thoughts on Rufus DeSoul, Vance Joy, Wave Shaper? I have no idea who any of those people are. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to save that and sort of see who those people are at a later date if I get a chance. I think I might have heard the name Vance Joy before, but I don't think I have. But if I did, I haven't heard the person's music. But no, I cannot speak on any of that. Have not heard of it in this moment. Do I think Regina Spektor has any 10 out of 10s? Not really, but she is great. Thoughts on November by Sir? I think it's boring. I don't really think it's one of the best R&B albums in a long time. I think it's pretty mediocre, honestly. But that's just me, I guess. Thoughts on Billie Eilish? I think she's average, and I think that's going to be it, guys. Just checking out the chat right now. Riptide, any advice? Drink water and get more sleep than I do. Favorite AWOL Nation or thoughts on AWOL Nation? I can't really say. And favorite of Montreal is maybe Satanic Panic, maybe, or maybe Gay Parade. I can't really say about half noise, but I don't really care for chill music all that much, honestly. I typically like my music to be a little bit more aggressive or engaging, not so much a chill music guy. All right, this is going to be the last one. Do I think that the fact that lyrics are so important in rap prevents the genre from exporting itself more easily between different parts of the world? Also, have I heard of any French rap? I have heard some French rap, but I do think you make a good point right there. I do actually think that what you've said there is absolutely true. And honestly, I don't really think there's anything else to add beyond, what you've stated there. I just kind of agree. However, though, I think that every culture in every country sort of understands the fundamentals and the concept of rap music, even if they don't understand the lyrics, which is why I think while, it might be hard for a French artist who's a rap artist to break over here, people in a lot of different countries can hear a French rapper and sort of get what the person is doing, even if they don't understand the language, and they themselves can just copy that and sort of just do it in their own language, which I think is why hip hop has kind of, sort of taken the world by storm, but just sort of taken different shapes and different cultures and so on and so forth. And will I review the fifth 30 Seconds to Mars album? Probably not, because 30 Seconds to Mars has never came out with a good album, and they're just a supremely uninteresting and mediocre band. But that's going to be it, guys. You're the best. Antoine Fantoine. Blah, 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 blah. Forever. Love you. Bye.